Hi chat. Welcome to another stream. Hopefully you all are doing well. Sorry I was late today. I was getting set up for stream and then my computer was like, it's time for Windows updates, and then shut everything down. So we're a little late today. But hopefully that's fine with you. You know, 4 minutes late isn't the worst. But let's see, today is Saturday, December 5th of 2020. And the plan for today's stream, at least for the first part of it, is I'm going to phone up my friend Max, and we are going to do a sample system designs interview. Systems design interview. There we go. That's how to words. But a little background on this: Max and I worked together at Lyft, and we both did senior N plus level interviews for, you know, multiple years. I've conducted, you know, hundreds of these interviews, so it should be pretty representative of how they actually go. Unfortunately, during the interview, I will not be able to address chat, so I hope that you guys will all talk amongst yourselves as I'm going. I will talk about specific parts at the end, and I might, you know, fourth wall a little bit while I'm in the middle of it. But for the most part, it's just going to be me doing the things. But yeah, it should last about an hour. So if you want to time your questions, they will happen after that. I guess one other thing that I need to address is I can't see myself seeing it, but I have a bandage on my face because I cut myself while shaving this morning, and it was awful. It was just blood everywhere. So this is protecting the blood from spilling everywhere. So yeah, it's not been a great morning for me. I feel like I've just been bad luck after bad luck after bad luck, and so we'll see how things go. But that's what that's about. But let me say hi to everyone, and then we can jump into it, and I will call Max and set stuff up. But yeah, it was late, so Rollers, Belnathis, and Juicebox Hero were all talking before I started streaming. It looks like Rollers was technically first. Then Juice, and then Belnathis. Hey, what's up, Jatoho? Hello, welcome to the stream. Twitch couldn't decide whether to show me the host channel or yours. Had to refresh a few times. I see. So you're watching Jordan, probably. Hey, what's up, Sammy Vallis? Hello. Belnathis says, me too, I didn't think about the int x2 thing and went for the classic dichotomy way. Oh yeah, for the complicated day 5 if you didn't know about binary strings. Yeah. Makes sense. How's it going, Kevin? Welcome back. Good evening. I'm not first, and I don't care. I'm here. Let's celebrate. Indeed. Welcome. Hey, what's up? Mapastrana. How's it going? Hayden is here as well. The Endless River is also here. Mock Systems Design Interview Sag. We don't just get a chat talkie programming stream. Yeah, that's kind of true. But we will be doing some programming after. I have a bunch of little things that I want to do for Frequency Eyes, so that should happen then. Roller says, I only did the binary because Anthony said that. Oh, I see. Hey, what's up, Progger G? Hello. Welcome to the stream. Banana says, what's on your cheek? Are you alright? Oh, okay, I answered that already. Roller says, I was expecting you 2 hours. Hey, what's up, Cas9? Hello. Interesting topic. I'm interviewing in a few weeks, so looking forward to how this goes. Yeah, I'm also interviewing soon, so that's why I'm doing this today. Parker G says, I have a question. Can you say how hard is it to create a game with Pygame with bots? It shouldn't be too hard to get like a basic game working. The AI part is going to be tricky, and like depending on how complicated your game is, the AI may be easier or more difficult. Sorry, Max is messaging me that I'm gonna switch from Google Docs to Google Drawings so that this works a little better. But yeah. Maybe it would be a good idea to remove music if you want to upload the interview portion separately on YouTube. So yeah, I'm actually going to be turning off the music. And actually all of my streams no longer have music on YouTube. So I'm going to be doing some fancy audio shuffling because I'm going to turn off desktop audio and then turn on a Discord source and get that working. We'll see how that goes. Hey, what's up, my Micah? Hello, hello. Good to see you again. Adrian, hello, hello. Welcome to the stream, Shrek Bay. How's it going? So is the entire stream the interview? Is there going to be a second part where I'm working on PCI? Yeah, there's going to be a normal coding stream after the first hour. So just the first hour is going to be the interview. Hey, what's up, Pasta Clutch and Simple Coders? How's it going? Okay, I think once I get access to this document, which I now have access to, we should be ready to go. So I'm gonna fiddle with my audio, show you guys this, and then we should be ready to go. I don't know what the topic is, Simple Coders. That's part of the fun of interviewing, is the interviewer is going to ask that to me. So anyway, for those of you in chat, just a reminder, if somebody asks what's going on, please show them Bang today and don't I won't be reading chat, so or I will try and not read chat. Of course, I'm easily distractible, so Max is already memeing. If you guys don't know Max, he is I would describe him as a meme lord, but he's a real funny guy. But anyway, let me pause the music. Switch my audio settings around. We need to check this box. Hopefully Max doesn't play. Hopefully Max doesn't sing copyright music. Okay, let me start a voice call. We will have to check the audio levels and make sure they're okay.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, let me see how your levels show up on chat. Can you talk a little bit?
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Is that good for you guys, stream? I think it's at the right level. It's about the same as my voice. Yeah, chat says it's good, so I guess we're good to go.
Cool.
Actually, I haven't used Google Drawings before, so this will be fine. Do you want me to put your face on screen too, Max? Let's see if I can figure that
out. Yeah, go for it. I got my camera set up.
Add. Window capture. Let's see. Sorry, this is going to take a little bit of setup. Not that screen we want. Stick sword. And then I gotta shrink you down. Put you over here. Then how do I crop? Transform, no. How do I crop? Do you guys remember how to crop in OBS? I don't. Is it shift with the... No?
Add a video source, right click on the layer you wish to apply a filter to, then select filters. Select crop path. I don't know. TMUs.
I'm not seeing that filter. Filters, here we go. Add crop. Okay. Oh, we have to like select it. Oh, this sucks so much. Okay, we got the bottom. Oh my goodness. Technical difficulties. Okay, that's that part, and then the top we want to do. Okay. We should have my friend Max on stream now. Okay, there we go. Okay, we should be good to go. It's 12:13, so that'll give us an hour.
Okay, cool. Let's see.
Is this still a good time to do an interview?
You know, actually, before we start, I had a different interview that I did once where it was just a coding interview, and I asked the question, and the candidate like thought for a minute, and then he goes, "Okay, I understand. Can I please use the restroom?" And I'm like, you know, I didn't say no, so he went, and then when he came back, he completely murdered my question. Just, you know, got the optimal answer super fast, explained it all, and I had no idea what to do. So, you know, either he was great, or he knew that either he's a really good candidate, or he knew the answer already, or he cheated.
Yeah.
And if he cheated, then that's not good. So yeah, now I always ask like right away for the first question I ask is, do you need to use the restroom? And then if they do go, I ask them to leave their phone.
Perfect. Yeah, that's yeah. I always lead with, "Is this still a good time to conduct an interview?" And then go from there.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. Well, yeah, let's get started. So, yeah, my name is Max. I'll be conducting your interview today. Let me just tell you a little bit about myself. I work on the, I don't know if I should dox myself. I think people can kind of figure out who I am, but I'll just say I'm a tech lead on a team that is very critical to what my company does. And we, my job is writing code, setting the roadmap, optimizing systems, and so on. Can you tell me just very briefly about yourself?
Yeah, sure. My name is Anthony. I originally started as a front-end engineer, doing front-end code. I transitioned to more of a full-stack engineer when I realized that it was really difficult to get front-end work done by myself. As a full-stack engineer, I recognized that there were a bunch of problems with building systems. This was when I worked at Yelp. With building systems in a scalable manner. Basically, we were working in a monolithic code base, and deploys ended up getting difficult. So I transitioned. I proposed to my manager at the time that we should create a developer productivity team, and that got pitched all the way up to the VP, and they gave us headcount to build a team that was, a developer productivity team. That team was called WebCore, and that's where I really kind of learned my passion for developer tooling and building stuff around there. We ended up building an entire organization around developer tooling at Yelp, and then you know after Yelp, I did similar things at Lyft, where I built out a developer experience organization, originally starting at a small team of about 5 people, and grew that team to 14, split that into 3 teams, and then grew each of those teams and built out an organization. Most of the stuff that I'm passionate about is code quality and testing and those sorts of things.
Okay, awesome. Cool. Can you tell me about a past project? Maybe tell me about something that you are really proud of, or something that you led end to end. Um, yeah.
Yeah, sure. I'll tell you probably the biggest project that I've ever worked on, which was a Python 3 migration. And I think like the technical points of the Python 3 migration weren't actually that interesting. Like, Python 2 and Python 3 aren't that different in programming languages. They're really a lot of syntactical changes. But the difficult part of that problem was organizing this project across hundreds of repositories and about 50 or so teams. In order to facilitate that project, we worked with executives and about 10 directors across many different organizations to get top-down buy-in on such a large-scale project, but also make sure that everyone is on board and prioritizes the work and organizes that work in such a way that we can make these sweeping changes across everyone and do it safely and successfully. And I was involved with a lot of the planning with that project, as well as a lot of the working with directors to get buy-in and making that project a success overall. And we were able to successfully move, I think it's 163 repositories, 141 services, and 52 teams before the 2020 end of life of CPython 2. And yeah, no small
Okay.
undertaking.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit more specifically about your role? Like, what you know, could the project have been done without you? And if not, why is that?
Yeah, sure. So I kind of took 2 roles in this. One was, the facilitator and organizer, where I worked with a bunch of different teams, spent a lot of time on education and building out tooling and infrastructure that made all of this possible. I think that's actually the more interesting part of it. Like the harder part is, being able to bring a bunch of people together and get a bunch of work done with. Sorry, let me move your face so that I'm not constantly looking back and forth at the screen. There we go. That's a better spot. But yeah, I was involved in the facilitation and like organizing teams and educating teams and providing tooling there, and I think that was probably the most important part. but I also spent some of the time as one of the implementers. So one of the problems that we ran into is even though we got all of these directors to prioritize this work, as it is with project work in general, like those prioritizations slip as customer-focused things come up, or other stuff as well. And so I was also a big force in the actual implementation and rollout of this. So I spent a lot of my own personal time working on other teams' repositories where I wasn't familiar with the code and kind of had to jump in, learn all of their code bases, work with their senior engineers, and schedule ways to roll this out in a safe manner. And we didn't cause any incidents. So actually, I think we caused one incident. But one out of 150 is pretty good ratios.
Nice. Yeah, I have some specific knowledge about this incident. Anthony's talked about it on stream, but I'll try not to break character too much. Cool. So let's jump into the technical question. So for this question, I'll describe a problem, and I'll have you just outline a system to solve it. And to my knowledge, this is not anything that we ask at my employer. It's not in any documentation. So I don't think that Anthony has seen this question before, but we'll find
Not
out.
Leaking any company secrets here.
Yeah. So the premise of this question is I'd like you to design a system similar to Pokemon Go. So I have not played Pokemon Go too much, but I will try to describe, I guess, the big rocks of what I want out of this system. The idea is users should have an app on their phone. Let's say you're not designing the app, you're mostly designing the back end of it. And in the app, you should be able to walk around and find nearby Pokemon. And you should be able to capture them. So let's start with just those requirements.
Okay, cool. So some things that I like to ask before I jump into a big problem like this is I want to understand problems of scale, as well as like what clients we're targeting, what sort of features we might look at in the future, as well as how we would organize this from a developer standpoint. As I'm mostly focused on developer experience in that kind of situation, I like to ask that first. So like when we're building this out as a company, what sort of engineering resources are we looking at? What sort of scale from an organization are we looking at? Do we have any established patterns around microservices or that sort of thing? And what do we want to kind of build out there from an organization perspective? Is this something that I'm going to be doing all of the development for, and so like I have a little bit more freedom to organize things in the ways I want to do, or is this something where I'm going to be prescribing an architecture to a series of teams, and then we're going to get director and etc. buy-in to build stuff out there? So what does that sort of look like from your perspective?
Yeah, so let's say we have company buy-in for this already, and it's a greenfield project. Let's say the company has a I don't know if this is mature or not, but let's say the company already uses microservices. They already have a development environment. They have CI/CD. I'm mostly trying to understand how you would structure the necessary services, what APIs we would need, what databases we would need, things like that. And I guess this design would eventually, be split up into at most, let's say 50 engineers across a few different teams. So it's not, hyper specialized sort of systems. I guess we're just looking to outline, like, what are the big blocks? What do we need? How do they communicate with each other?
Cool, sounds great.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, one additional question, which is like, I assume we're going to develop this at a scale where we expect, everyone in the world to whip out their phone and spend 2 weeks solving world peace and playing Pokemon instead of, grumbling. And we'll also be designing this for a pre-pandemic world where people can actually go outside.
Yeah, people can travel, they can go outside. I don't know about everyone in the world, but let's say, millions of active users, and people would potentially cluster together. If there's like some really rare Pokemon is somewhere, you could have hundreds of people, maybe 1,000 if it's safe. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't played much Pokemon Go. You could have like a ton of people that might actually want to, capture a specific Pokemon in an area.
Cool, yeah. So a couple of things that I noticed about this problem that makes it perhaps a little bit easier is because it's location-based, we can do some tricks around partitioning our actual infrastructure. So like things like multi-cloud or multi-data center or multi-region are going to be things that we can approach here because if I have my phone out and I'm in Ann Arbor, Michigan, for instance, and I'm poking around on Pokemon Go, I can connect directly to a local server, and I don't need to go to like a server in California. And this will provide like better latency and other stuff around that. So I'm gonna try and think about that as part of my design. However, I'm probably gonna start with the simplest thing first, which is just like one server, and then talk about how I can scale it up from there.
Okay.
All right, so let's talk about our models first. I usually like to start with models because they are, how I want to think about the data and how I want to piece all the things together. Oh, actually, let me double check that this is actually recording. Okay, yeah, we're good. So I think the first model that we're going to talk about is the user, and I'm going to hopefully abstract away a lot of the login because I don't think building a login system is actually all that interesting. But we're going to assume that we have some sort of...
This exists. Sure.
Perfect, yeah. We're going to assume we have some sort of user. I think we're going to give them a primary location. However, it is possible that they go traveling and so they're in some other part of the world. So, so in primary location, this may be updated at some point in time. But, something that gives them a general position in the world. The problem with storing location data, of course, is our good old friend GDPR and CCPA, and so you want to be very careful about the the personally identifiable information here. But we might use this later to select what servers they go to or something like that. Another thing that they might have is a user ID, of course, because that's not super interesting. But I don't think we actually need much more than that for our user here. We're also going to probably have some sort of entity, which is the Pokemon that they've captured. In this case, I'm probably thinking of doing a key value store just because it's pretty easy to handle in that sort of way. Where we have a captured Pokemon, which maybe has a hash key or a composite key that's like the user ID plus the capture ID or something like that. Because you can have multiple of the same Pokemon, you can have 0 of a Pokemon, you can have whatever sort of stuff, and this will have like the species, the level, and the the other stuff the Pokemon have, nickname, etc. Maybe even like.
So is the capture ID representative of like the session under which you captured it? Is that what you mean by capture ID?
I would probably just have this be some opaque UUID because it doesn't really, the actual retrieval of this doesn't really matter so much. It's just that we want some unique way to refer to that specific Pokemon if we need to do like, battles or stuff like that.
Yeah, makes sense.
And, the nice thing about having the user ID and the key is you can do queries against this particular thing to collect all of the user's Pokemon. So we're kind of, I'm maybe jumping a little bit ahead and prescribing a, particular model for viewing this data. Like it might make more sense to do this as a relational store, but we might look at this later and revisit how we match these models together. I think that's actually most of our backing data. One question or one thing about Pokemon Go that is kind of interesting is usually when you're playing the game, a lot of people will see the same Pokemon at the same area. And so we might have another entity that represents like an appearance there so that, a player can only see a particular Pokemon once and like that is in a region. I might think about that a little bit later, but these are the models that I think are going to be persistent. We might have some temporary data that is represented in similar models. Let's talk about, I think... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So for finding nearby Pokemon, let's talk about sort of this. You mentioned that people might see Pokemon and then they might not see them afterwards. So let's say, just to clarify that Pokemon are always either visible on the map to anyone who's near them, and then one person can capture them. But if you see the Pokemon and then leave and then come back, it'll still be there if no one's captured it.
Okay, so I mean, the way the Pokemon Go actually works is I don't want to be like that, but the way it actually works is like if there's a Pokemon at a region, it'll be there for like a 30-minute period or like a 15-minute period, and any of the people there can capture that Pokemon. So it's not like exclusive. But we could design it either way depending on how you want me to design it.
Yeah, let's say my version it's exclusive.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry for the confusion.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So then we need to design a system which is similar to like a checkout system where we have a group of Pokemon, and while someone is encountering a Pokemon, they have to hold like an exclusive access to that. And so we basically need the encounter of a Pokemon to be atomic. Now, building this from a user's perspective is actually going to be pretty tricky because you don't want to really show Pokemon on a map that other people could steal from you. Because it'd be a pretty shitty user experience if oh, I see the rare Pokemon, and you go to click on it, it says, oh, someone else has already encountered this Pokemon. Sorry. So I think we can actually kind of fudge this a lot and ship a set of viewed Pokemon to a client that are unique to that client, and not actually show peered Pokemon to everyone else. Because there's no point in showing people Pokemon that they can't possibly see. And so let's talk about some of the APIs that we're going to do here and expand out how those are going to work. And this is probably going to change how our models will work as well. So one model that I think we're probably going to use sorry, API.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Let's say I understand what you're saying about how we shouldn't show people Pokemon that they can't capture, but for the purposes of this problem, let's have some sort of overlap where we might show an available Pokemon to multiple people, and there is some sort of
sorry, here's another Pokemon kind of deal. Okay, all right, we'll do it that way then.
There will be contention. So if you have two people that open, let's say you have like 5 people that open their app in the same area, maybe some of them would see the Pokemon, some of them wouldn't. So the ones that see the Pokemon can contend for it.
Okay.
But you only one person is going to be able to capture it at a time. So maybe one person initiates the capture step, and it's just whoever is. I didn't really outline combat or battles or anything like that, but there's some way to say like, okay, I'm going to capture it, and then you're the one who's going to capture it.
Okay, sounds good. So the first API that I'm going to kind of design here is from the client's perspective, going to see what are the available Pokemon at a particular region. So, or at a particular, probably GeoQuad. That's probably the easiest way to handle location data. So you would have the way GeoQuads work. You're familiar with how GeoQuads work. This is more for chat. The way GeoQuads work is like you have a particular, I believe it's squares, although some represent them as hexagons, which will allow things, more granular positions. But basically, you hash a particular location to a two-dimensional space on a grid, and store data based on that. So let's assume that the phones can detect their own GeoQuad and can send that to the server. Of course, a big problem with Pokemon Go is location spoofing, and I don't think... Are you okay if I don't try and address that here? Because location spoofing gets into fraud and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, I understand that. I think the term is geohash.
Geohash.
I agree. No. Yeah.
Okay, Yelp called them geoquads, so that's where I'm. that's where I'm stuck in that. But yeah, geohashing, indeed.
I've never heard of geoquad, so maybe it is a thing.
Okay. I know Liv calls them geohashes, so that's fair. Okay, so let's do an API for available Pokemon or something like this, and it's going to take an input that is our geo hash. And I think the way that I'll want to design this is kind of a lot of these available Pokemon are essentially ephemeral and they're location based. So I don't really need any persistent storage for this. I can use something like, Memcached or Redis to store a set of Pokemon that have some expiration time on them for a geohash. As part of looking them up, I can go against that storage. Or do we have nice shapes here? Can I put text in one of these? Oh, I can. Perfect. So let's say this is, Redis slash memcached. We're going to be using it as like a partially persistent storage here. So the neat part about this problem is we can kind of lie to users about how persistent the data is because they won't be able to verify any of it. So like they'll see a set of Pokemon. We can keep it in our non-persistent storage because they're ephemeral. Pokemon are all ephemeral. We really only care about like if a person has captured a Pokemon, we want that data to be 100% consistent and persistent. So what I'm going to do here is kind of a little sketch of how this API would work. Where is the text box? So the first step would be, and we can kind of make these the data that we structure here kind of lazy. Like if we don't have to populate all of the data for every single geohash because maybe people aren't necessarily in all of those geohashes, and that would be extremely expensive for just continually churning processing power to populate all those geohashes. So let's first do a attempt to retrieve from memcached for the particular or from cache data. I don't really want to call it a cache data because we are actually using this as our live data from live data.
Oh, your memory DB.
Yeah, memory DB. That's a good way to put it. From memory DB. Now, of course, as soon as you introduce multiple steps here, we have problems with atomicity. So I think I know Redis has like a locking mechanism. I'm not gonna be able to Google during actual interviews, but I know Redis has like a kind of key-based locking mechanism, so we could use that potentially to enforce rights here. And so if we're able to retrieve, we can just say that retrieval is free, but we would take a lockout to write this data in a somewhat consistent fashion. Because we wouldn't want the case to be where like two clients show up, one asks for the data, doesn't get it, starts writing it, the second asks for the data, doesn't get it, starts writing it, and then they have two different world states of the world. And as soon as they try and check in, like the Pokemon would blink in and out, and that would provide kind of a crappy user experience. So we're gonna kind of enforce some consistency here, and probably have a timed lock so that if for some reason our API server has a bug or spins forever or spends a bunch of time doing stuff that it doesn't need to do, it would time out and allow another client to access that. So some sort of timed lock against memory storage, and during this timed lock we're going to do the following. We're going to generate a set of Pokemon, and we're going to store that in the lock. So this is if there's nothing there, or it needs a refresh, because it's possible that we retrieve all the data and the expiry time has exhausted. We should actually talk about what the data structure of this looks like here. So we'd have expiry time, and we would have available Pokemon as some sort of list of things here. And these will have like, actually this can probably be a set. And I know Redis has sets, so we can do that. And this will kind of be our blob of data that we retrieve over and over. Store that in the lock. Memory TP. And so once we've done all of this, then we can just return the data. Why did this not work? Return our data. And we would filter, so the available Pokemon would be filtered based on, actually we can just delete them from this set once they're gone. Although probably when you capture a Pokemon, you probably want the number of Pokemon in a region to stay somewhat constant. Otherwise you would see like, big spike of Pokemon and then everyone would capture them all, and then big spike and then everyone would capture them all. So we'll probably design our, completed capture as a different API here. But I think that's our retrieval. The other thing that we can do, depending on whether our memory storage has support for this, I know like if you're working with Dynamo, I know Dynamo is kind of a crappy memory storage, but because it's persistent and consistent. But a lot of your memory databases also have a TTL sort of field, so you can say, this chunk of data will expire based on this time, instead of doing something like least recently used or other eviction policies. So we're going to assume that we use some sort of time-based eviction policy here. Time-based eviction policy.
So are you saying that you want to evict all the Pokemon after a specific time, or do you want to have like individual Pokemon potentially expire in that area?
Oh, actually, that's a good point, because if we do time-based eviction policy, we can't really mutate this data. And that produces some interesting consisting problems. So it might make sense to do a account-based, or like individual Pokemon with an individual expiry time. That makes our retrieval a lot more tricky. So maybe the available Pokemon actually has individual expiry time, and so we don't actually have a time-based eviction policy, unless... Oh, we can do a time-based eviction policy, but we just update the overall expiry time. So we have an expiry time for all of this stuff, so if you have like no access to the data at all, we can evict the entire data set. But each individual Pokemon is going to have its own expiry time. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about it that way. Individual expiry time. And I think during, like, if we do a retrieval and we get some expired time, we can probably, if some are expired, filter those out and trigger a background job to populate them. That way we can kind of do this out of band, and we can just show the currently available Pokemon. This should keep them relatively constant. The worst case scenario is like you have, you're at the tail end of a retrieval and you only see a particular set of Pokemon, and then several minutes later a bunch more appear. But I think that's an okay user experience. One thing that I didn't mention is this is kind of a heartbeat API, which can be problematic for scaling, but it's per client, and I think it's not super terrible. As the problem scales out, though, you would probably want to move to more of like a push model where updates to a particular geohash would only ping the clients that are online and in that location, instead of like a client continually pulling. This would also help for disaster recovery, where you don't want to bake everything into this one mega API, and so every time you're dealing with some sort of outage or scaling issue in any of your components, like this isn't a critical and self-feedback loop failure that makes it really difficult to recover. I've worked with several of these systems at previous companies where centralized APIs like this make it really difficult to scale out a system and make it durable to these kind of disaster scenarios. So it's a little, we're going to go for a heartbeat for our very first approach here, if that's okay.
So for the heartbeat, the clients that are in that area would be calling this heartbeat. However, in the push-based model, you said the clients in the area would be subscribing and receiving the push. So would it be equivalent, or like, I think I'm not understanding the difference.
It would be roughly equivalent, except in a disaster scenario, we could scale the push in a much more server-side fashion. We can control how much data is flowing from the server, more so than we can from a client. Of course, you could always send a push to a client that says, "Hey, heartbeat less often," and then still be able to control some of that data flow there. But I find that trusting a client to heartbeat properly is often more difficult than just saying, I'm making the calls here. You'll receive the data when I tell you to receive the data. Of course, building a push model,
like rate limiting or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, we would want to implement rate limiting either way, because someone's going to reverse engineer our API and then use that to build large-scale maps and build a community around it, and then ban everyone who is part of that community. But that's I'm not salty about Pokemon Go at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you clarify the I guess step 2A, generate a set of Pokemon? Specifically, how do we determine if you have N people in an area that only a subset of them will see certain Pokemon?
Yeah, so I think what I would do here, so this is assuming either we're doing a full, actually this would only be a full generation step. So this is the
Got it.
first person that enters the region, and so they would generate, you know, and I think you could always generate the same number of Pokemon in a region, and then you know, scale that based on how large your region size is. So assuming they're small regions, they're probably, you know, several blocks or like you know, the size of a park or something, and so you would probably generate, you know, a even distribution of number within there. But this would just be a full generation. I'll talk more about how we do replacement of expired Pokemon later, because there's kind of two other components to this. There's this background trigger job, and there's also the time when we actually achieve a capture of a Pokemon. We also, oh, I forgot to do the actual checkout mechanism for when we enter the battle. So I'll go over the checkout mechanism as well.
Yeah.
Because we need to say like this Pokemon is being viewed by a particular person. So actually this probably also needs, in additional to individual XP time, we also probably need like a optional optional UID that's the actual person, and checked out person. It's the person that actually has that particular Pokemon. Of course, mutating this might be a little bit tricky, but I think we can manage. Are you okay with this so far? And I can move on to one of the other APIs.
I'm still a little confused on how we determine that. You know, we've generated all the possible Pokemon, but then we need to figure out that some people see some Pokemon and some people don't see them, even if they're in the same area.
Oh, okay. So we want people to see a subset of the Pokemon, not the entire result set.
Well, I think we talked about how it's like unfortunate if you have like a really rare Pokemon and everyone in the area sees that Pokemon and is contending for it. So I think sort of the middle ground we have is that we could generate multiple Pokemon and not actually show them to everyone there. So, for example, if there's a rare Pokemon, then some people just won't see it, and other people will be able to contend for it. So how do we, like with this system, control that some people can see this Pokemon, some can't? Because all the possible available Pokemon are going to be in your data store, but you don't actually want to reveal that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So what I would probably do for this is generate considerably more Pokemon than you would ever want to display to any one user. So, you know, maybe a user sees 10 Pokemon at once. And so let's generate 1,000 or scale that based on the number of actual users in the geohash. We can probably run some background job based on the stats to a particular geohash to figure out how we need to auto scale a particular region for a person. But let's talk about how we would select the subset from this, because I think this is just going to be like one blob select, and then we can do filtering in our API to show a particular set to users. I think the easiest way to do that, so select, let's say there's 1,000 generated for a region, and we want to show people 10. So we would select, you know, 1,000 from our data store. And again, this isn't much data because it's essentially like a couple integers and a couple strings, and so maybe this is fits in like one read capacity unit, so it's not really one or two read capacity units, so it's not super expensive to make this kind of call. And you know, we could yeah, so we're gonna select 1,000 of them. Then I think the easiest way to do this is do some subset hashing based on this. So we have some unique data per user, which is our user ID, and we can use that to, you know, do some sort of modular arithmetic over our 1,000 data set to select some subset of that. So, you know, maybe it's assuming the data is actually unordered, you could probably just take, like, you know, generate an integer from your ID and then mod based on that number and treat it as a circular buffer and grab out a subset of that. It doesn't have to be cryptographically consistent here. We can just use some cheap hashing algorithm here. But the main point of it is to take that large chunk of data and get a consistent subset of it, or consistent indexing of it. And so, like, for 1,000, you might have numbers 10, 110, 210, or something like that, and show just those to that user. That way, everyone in the region is going to get kind of a unique subset of those Pokemon, and some people will share some of them. You could, of course, also scale this by rarity. So if you had something that's like super rare, you might, add some additional business logic into that subset selection. Oh, I forgot to actually write this in here. So use user ID plus some hashing plus some consistent hashing / shuffling to select a subset. Consistent. Of course, when I talk about consistent hashing, I'm not referring to the normal diagram that you would use to do, allocating shards of a data store. I'm more talking about like use some algorithm that, with an input of array of size n and a user ID that's some integer, some math that allows you to select a subset of that. That larger list. I know the word consistent hashing kind of evokes a certain feeling from some types of people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds like you could decide like these users get the first 10 and these users get the next 10 and these users get the next 10. So that's kind of like consistent hashing, but I understand. I don't think consistent hashing is necessarily bad in this case, but I think I understand the sort of general idea where you use the ID to choose a subset.
Yeah. You're right. I could use consistent hashing here, but I think that adds a little bit of operational overhead, which is unnecessary based on the problem constraints. Like, the users don't actually care that, they have replicated data on the back end. They just want to see a subset of the Pokemon, and we have a way to consistently give them that subset. As long as our data retains the same order on the back end repeatedly.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, so you want to talk about... Sorry, what'd you say?
Let's talk about the next API.
Okay, so I think... I think next I want to talk about this background job, although it's not super... It's not super involved. Basically, it would be a... this is probably either queued with like some notification service similar to like Kafka or SNS or something like that, where you would pub sub and say like, we publish this geohash, and please, repopulate these particular expired indices, and it would run that background job, take a lock similar to this, and find all of the ones that have expired and replace them with newly generated species. And the clients wouldn't really care at that point because they're just dumb retrieval mechanisms, and they can get replaced as necessary. I can go into more details there, or if you're okay with that explanation, I can move on to another API.
Yeah, I think for the MVP that sounds good. We can. I think with the background job, you might have to build some smarts to guess where to actually repopulate, whereas with the system already, you'd be repopulating based on how active people are. So I think that's sufficient. But yeah, let's talk about the next API.
Yeah, actually, I think with the next API, I'll clarify one part of that, because I think it is actually addressed, but it's not written out, and I haven't communicated that properly. But okay, so let's talk about the next API. I think the next API that's important is the one where a user starts an encounter. And this is actually tricky because we do have a race condition with two clients trying to start the same thing at the same time. So we need some sort of way to resolve a consensus here. I think we can just do that by, again, utilizing locking. So API/encounter, and again, we probably want to maintain our geohash just so that we can retrieve Redis in the same way as before. And this is going to be an authenticated user API. I guess every API is going to be authenticated because, what's the point of Pokemon Go if you're not logged in? And so we would take a geohash, and we would probably take some sort of Pokemon ID, and this would come from this available Pokemon model here. So again, like some ID field here. Of course, I would probably write this with an underscore here. And in this API here, what we'd again do is like we would need a lock against this storage, and two people could run the same API at the same time. We'll talk about what happens and what ordering happens there, and how we can do sort of retries or like some user experience on the client that makes it not so frustrating. Although I can already tell based on how we've designed this the behavior where two people could click on it at roughly the same time and have latency based on their actual client is going to make this really a really kind of negative user experience. But you know, that's the constraint of the problem. So we'll just have to hope the client engineers can make people not so angry and you know, oops, you clicked on a Pokemon that someone else captured. Here's a Pokeball for free or something like that. So
well, I don't. Yeah, I understand it's frustrating. We could also essentially generate so many Pokemons that this contention is very low. But yeah, we could also talk. But yeah, let's keep going with this.
Yeah, or another way is like we don't show overlap to users. That would also solve that user experience problem as well. But yeah, let's say that we go to this. We know our geohash, so we can retrieve this blob, and so we would again make an exclusive lock against that particular key in our memory DB. So exclusive lock against value keyed by geohash, and we would probably give a particular time frame that they can complete this capture in. So, you know, we don't want somebody to check out a Pokemon and then, you know, the game crashes or something, or like they just leave their phone out and then that data can never be collected. So we probably want some additional expiry time for like an encounter expiry time. But I'm gonna kind of gloss over that at the moment and think about it a little bit in a second, because I think it'll also come into the ending part here. And we can probably do something on the client as well that's like, you know, you have 5 minutes to capture this Pokemon, otherwise it will be gone, blah blah blah, and kind of make it a time 20 game. Yeah, exclusive lock, we will mark the individual available Pokemon with the checked out ID. This is the thing that I talked about earlier, where we, you know, substituted in the user ID, and so this becomes it transitions from null to some user ID. That way we know who has access to this Pokemon. Actually, that actually helps us if the game crashes. You could issue a heartbeat, figure out that you are in an encounter, and then continue a encounter. I know for the longest time the client was a force quit simulator for several weeks. But yeah, we mark the available Pokemon with the checked out ID, and I think that's it. This, because it has a checked out ID, it will become invisible to everyone else. But we want to talk about the failure scenarios here. Like, we want to, you know, talk about when somebody already has this checked out. And so we can actually do this inside our exclusive lock as well. So we can say like, if someone else checked it out, error message, and or, you know, give the user a gift and opportunity to do something else.
Fails.
What's that?
Is that if the lock fails? Or is that even if step 1 succeeds?
I think if the lock fails, we just issue a 500 and a retry. This is basically the scenario where, you know, another user retrieved or checked out this Pokemon first, and their write succeeded, and then the next read afterwards either blocked a little bit and then locked, or locked and then noticed that Pokemon is now gone. So this is the case where they missed their window of opportunity to successfully become the person who's in this encounter. And
okay, so in other words, the first person is able to obtain a lock, and then if a second person should not be able to obtain the lock, right?
Right. Or it would. Yeah. So the exclusive lock is mostly for actually doing the read and write in a consistent manner to the data store. Okay. It's not like a long living lock. It's just going to live for the 100 milliseconds that they're doing the read and write. or well, it'd probably be way less than
Okay,
100
got it. And
milliseconds.
then you see if your checked out ID matches. Okay, I see. So this is
Yep.
like an atomic way to assign your checked out ID to. Okay, got it.
Yep. Yeah. I'm mostly trying. Yeah. Again, as you said, I'm mostly trying to make an atomic way to say this is my Pokemon, or at least I'm in this encounter. Um, so I think that actually satisfies this endpoint. We probably want to, we would add some necessary more logic to like the timeout here for encounter timeout. That way, this could, like, if you encounter Pokemon 2 seconds before it would have expired, this will allow you to extend that expiry period further. And we would, again, like, have to add some more logic here in our retrieval. But it's not too much more complicated. It's just, like, checking another expiry time. And we would also add some additional, idea here that, like, if your encounter timeout times out and the Pokemon gets deleted, when we actually go to the capture API, which we'll get to next, that will handle, somebody trying to capture a Pokemon that they either haven't checked out or the encounter timeout has expired, and provide error cases there. So are you okay if I jump to the last API that I think is important here?
Actually, let's say we want it just to cover all the bases. Let's say we don't want to show overlapping. We don't want to show the same Pokemon to different people. How would you, I guess, alter your system for that? Maybe we could talk about it at the very end, or we could talk about it now if you think it's a
Let's
short
just do it right now. So the main problem with not showing overlapping, or the main adjustment to not showing overlapping Pokemon for different regions is adjusting how our data works here and how our set of values here. So we designed for an overlapping set of things where we will serve the same Pokemon to the same person, and that necessarily complicated how we're doing our checkout and check-in here. But what we can do instead is change how this is keyed. So right now we're just keying on the geohash so that we share data. We can key this instead on the geohash, or actually it would be this being keyed on geohash. So this, oh, that's not the right text box. Oh, that's not the right text box either. Where are you?
You can use tab maybe to like pick the text boxes.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Anyway, keyed by geohash. So this is what it originally is right now. We can instead key this by geohash and user ID. That way we give each individual user their own set of Pokemon and greatly reduce the size of things here. By doing this, it actually makes our problem a lot simpler. However, it makes our data scale a lot more based on our user load. But as long as this is a composite key and like we have, Redis our memory database properly auto-scaled based on the region, it's not too terrible. And like we can have these all go to different shards, and you'd never really have a hot shard because your users will be relatively uniform in how they're going to make their requests. You're not going to have one user generating millions of requests to their particular shard. And if you do, you rate limit them and prevent them from doing that. But that changes this here, so we no longer have a large set of data here, and we no longer have to select some subset here. We instead just like generate a generate n for the person and manage their data accordingly. We also don't have to do anything special with our encounter anymore because we're no longer managing things that can be shared among users. So it actually makes our encounter API a lot simpler. We probably don't even need to do any sort of management of who has checked it out anymore because we're no longer this text box is just gone. I don't know how to access it anymore. It's not down here. It's maybe not this one.
Optional. Let me see if I can get it.
But anyway, it doesn't actually matter. So
there we go. I got it.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, if you click on like an image and then you press tab, you can tab to it.
Is it this one? Oh my god, I found it. Okay, yeah. So what I want to say here is like, I'm gonna remember to put borders on these when I actually do I'll probably just use the blot squares because that'll be a little bit easier. But yeah, you don't have to manage this checked out person anymore because you're the only person that could look at this, and so it's really up to the client to avoid abuse there. And I don't know, avoiding abuse is actually a problem that Pokemon Go struggles with a lot, and so you have to make sure to manage that properly. But yeah, it makes the data storing a lot simpler, and it makes the encounter a lot simpler. And the capture is also much simpler as well. You don't have to check that you're the checked out person, you have the encounter timeout, etc. You still need this encounter timeout probably because you want to be able to extend the availability of that Pokemon being there past its expiration time. But yeah, I think not showing overlapping Pokemon to people makes the model a lot easier.
Got it. Okay. So you said then there's one last API, I guess the capture API?
Yeah.
Or is the encounter cover it? Okay.
Yep. The capture API is really straightforward. Do you want me to design it for the new model or the old model?
We can do both, I guess.
We can do both. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna design it for the new model first, since the new model is much simpler. The new capture model does two things. The first is it marks the particular Pokemon that was caught as expired. Oh, again, it takes geohash and Pokemon ID. And again, user ID is available because it's an authenticated session. So the first thing it's going to do is it's going to mark that available Pokemon as expired. Mark as expired. We can actually do this in either order. It has different different user experiences. There's different problems with how we would do this because we kind of want this operation to be atomic, but it matters not that much for how it works. But anyway, we'd mark it as expired, and we would insert a captured Pokemon record for that user. The problem with the ordering here is if for some reason the request was interrupted in between these two cases, there's a potential for a person to capture a Pokemon and then not actually acquire it. And so I would probably want to lean more in this direction where we insert the captured Pokemon first and then mark it as expired. The problem with expiring second instead of first is, doing it second instead of first is somebody could capture a duplicate of a Pokemon. But in Pokemon generally, clones are not a huge deal, and like people definitely don't spend too much time building out clones of Pokemon because what's the point of having the same Pokemon twice?
Yeah.
But again, like we have a Pokemon ID, so we could enforce that on our data store here that we never insert a duplicate key here, and so we could use a little bit of your persistent data stores technology to prevent duplicate insertions. I know like not all key value stores have this, but we could also make the put to be idempotent here so that it's always going to insert the same data, so it doesn't really matter if we try and insert twice. But Dynamo has a feature where you can say like, if this key already exists, don't insert it, produce an error. If you're working with any relational store, pretty much every relational store is going to have like primary key constraints and that sort of thing to prevent duplicate insertions. So you don't really have to worry so much about the clone problem. I think the biggest point here is do the captured Pokemon first, such that like, you wouldn't want to capture Pokemon and then not have it be captured. We do have to do some validation here. Like we have to make sure that this particular Pokemon ID is inside this geohash and like it's not past the encounter timeout, and produce some sort of error message there. And I think from the client side, you would probably want to retry this API until it's successful because it is, a idempotent. We can do that in an idempotent way. So either put this or post this. Based on whatever verb you want to do.
And then in the capture Pokemon record, is the capture ID, is that a reference to the available Pokemon, or is that a different ID?
So the available Pokemon is entirely ephemeral. For capture ID, again, we could use this Pokemon ID here, so we could have it be the same UUID as this one. Pretend I can highlight this one as this one here. I actually think making it the same ID is useful here because it allows you to solve the like clone problem pretty nicely. It doesn't actually matter what the capture ID is though, but having it be the same as the available Pokemon, solves one of the user problems that we would do, or that we would encounter there.
Got it. Okay. Cool. So yeah, that's the end of the technical portion. Do you have any questions for me or anything you want to ask about?
So usually I would, but I actually know all the answers here. But for chat's sake, I would usually say something like, so what sort of team size are you working with? Like, what does your management structure look like? How do you prioritize work? What sort of say does an individual have in the organization? Um, what and again, I wouldn't ask all these same questions to one particular interviewer. I would space them out amongst my several interviews so that I get kind of this breadth of knowledge as things go on. I'd probably also talk about like how disagreements function at an organization, try and get a gauge of like the toxicity of the org, try and figure out like I wouldn't explicitly say toxicity because you don't want to be like, so how shitty is it to work at such and such company? But it would be kind of thinly veiled questions to ask, like how particular things function in an organization and how it moves forward and that sort of stuff. I would also probably ask a little bit about like what somebody's favorite or least favorite thing is about their company. Again, that one's a bit of a cliche question, but I find that the way people answer it can often tell you more about how their org functions than they necessarily would tell you verbatim. I always found as an interviewer that was the hardest one to answer because it would be like, man, there are some really shitty things here that I don't want to tell people about, but also like sometimes it's really nice to be able to talk about like, I can leverage leadership or like show how I was able to work with teams, a bunch of different teams, or like organize a bunch of stuff, and like I don't know. I think the biggest important part to get out of the questions at the end is to ask for culture and try and get a more straightforward answer about how things are actually functioning at an org. What do you think about the end questions? I always feel like they're kind of a crapshoot, and
Yeah, I think asking a good question can help your interview, and asking no questions or a trite question can actually hurt it because it doesn't seem like they're invested or actually like thinking about the right things. Asking someone their favorite thing or least favorite thing can come off as trite, so I think it's important to phrase it a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I generally ask like more of the same things. Tell me like in the next like 3 to 6 months, what is the biggest bet for your team? Or tell me about an outage that your company had and how that happened. Then you can find out if they have a blameless culture or not.
Blameless, right?
Yeah. Well, there's what guardrails their company has for outages and various things like that. So
the outage one is good. I'm definitely gonna steal that. You get to see how much of a dumpster fire things are.
I sometimes, as an interviewer, ask that. But yeah, I'm trying to think what other things people have asked me. They ask me about culture. A lot of people ask about tech stack. I find that can also be kind of superficial because, as long as it's not COBOL, like it's probably okay. But I try to drill into like, yes, we have CI/CD, we have microservices, we have like XYZ, even if people aren't asking that directly. And people also ask me about my specific team and how our system is built, and I give some insight into that. But yeah, cool.
What's the worst question that someone's ever asked you as an interviewer? I know I have some pretty bad ones. I had a dude ask me once if there were any women on the team.
Okay, well, was it in the context of diversity, or is it the context of someone being like weird?
No, it was in the context of like skeezy white dude.
That sucks.
Yeah,
that's rough. I haven't had any sort of candidate. A question at the end of the interview can really, like a question like that is pretty bad to ask. But at least, it helps the company understand the kind of person that they might be working with if they hire that kind of person.
The other bad one that I've gotten is somebody asking salary to an engineer.
Like asking you how much you make or how much they would expect.
Both.
Yeah. Well, that one, they asked the recruiter that, so like.
Yeah. I've had ones where they asked the recruiter that and the recruiter told them nothing, so they just asked each of the interviewers.
Yeah. That's funny.
There's a good answer to that though. It's always I'm looking for a competitive salary for role that you're looking for. So staff engineer, etc., or like senior software engineer, or whatever you're looking for.
Yeah.
Depending on your state, you can actually ask. You can ask your recruiter, and they are legally required to give you the salary bands for the position you're applying for. So, like, I know California has a law around this. There's a law in what's the other state? I'm losing the name of the state. Brain forget. But yeah, like that's a question that you ask to recruiters and not to engineers.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many negotiation tactics, and like you could say, I'm looking for a salary that's to measure it with my roles and responsibilities, and I'm really excited about the company, and I'd love to talk about salary more if it gets that far. Like you just defer it, and I would say use resources like levels.fyi, Glassdoor, and so on, market rate of engineers of like your level or area, and negotiate and ask for something that's higher than you might be actually satisfied with, and then you would negotiate down. And don't feel guilty for negotiating. It's totally fine. You're exchanging your time and effort for a salary, and you shouldn't be ashamed of that.
Cool. Well, is there anything else you
Yeah.
want to talk
Do you
about,
want
Matt?
like a little? I could give you like maybe a post brief on this question. How I think you did. So for the,
This is the
we
part where
started the
we
interview. I
failed
talked about
chat.
myself.
Sorry, go ahead.
Or what?
I was saying this is the part where we failed chat. But no, go ahead.
What? I haven't been looking at chat. Is there anything chat is asking?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't been looking at chat either. I'll look at that later.
Okay.
There's a couple
so
that are
we
saying
talked
Pokemon
about-
Go doesn't work this way.
Yeah, well, they joined the interview late because I said, hey, I haven't played Pokemon Go, but this is a style. I mean, I could have said something like treasure hunt.
Oh, sure, yeah, we could have made it completely generic. Yeah, it's fine. But yeah.
Yeah, but I know you're obsessed with these children's games, so.
Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt again.
That's cool. I'll put Pokemon Go, but not really. So we talked about what I do and about yourself. I think for that you could be a little bit more concise and just stick to maybe your like last role and the things you worked on there. I think for the past project as well, you did a good job of talking about the overview. I think you can talk more about like your specific role and the challenges. So for this question, like to be honest, I don't know what every interviewer looks for when they ask this question, but I use this as an opportunity to gauge seniority and level, especially as you go like senior staff. This question is a way to really show the interviewer what like that your background is commensurate of these titles. So have you dealt with ambiguity? Were you working cross org? Were you working cross team? Were you working only within your own team? And even for less senior candidates, it's still a good way to show that like you can, own things end to end and ship it successfully. I think for this question, you could give a stronger answer by describing some of the challenges. Like you could say, some companies have completely avoided Python altogether. They have no faith in the Python ecosystem because the 2 to 3 migration has all these issues. And you could counter and say like, well, actually, I built this tool that completely automated the problem with only one minor incident. Continuously like you could focus on how tools like pre-commit PyUpgrade, rewriter Python imports, and so on that are completely open source have like made this completely seamless. And then I think also it was good that you talked about getting buy-in from directors, and you could talk more about setting the timeline and agreeing to things, and you white gloved when necessary, but most of the time it wasn't necessary. So I think that can really help you stand out with a question like that.
Yeah, I think I wanted to avoid some of that because because I don't necessarily want to give all that information away to random strangers on the internet watching my stream. But yeah, I completely understand that.
Sorry. Well, don't they already know that you wrote these tools?
I mean, they know about all the public tools, but they don't know about all of the like internal difficulties dealing with directives and prioritization and all the nitty gritty details there. I would have elaborated more on those because I think those are actually the most important part of that.
Yeah, I think the level of detail for speaking to directors is sufficient. Like most engineers are never going to talk to a director outside of like joining the company, having like an initial one-on-one. So yeah, but again, like you could highlight the engineering difficulties and how you were a multiplier and help people solve these. For the technical part, I think you did really well. I actually, again, have no calibration on this question. I haven't asked it to anyone, but I think you did a really good job anticipating issues, like talking about details, identifying failure cases. Um, I think the parts where you could have improved a bit is I don't know if it's the nature of virtual interviews or not, but potentially more systems diagrams. So saying like this is the service, this is the database, and so on. So like being more visual instead of text focused. Although the text is very useful to outline the failure cases.
Yeah, I
You
definitely
could
want to use more
also
blobs on an actual whiteboard. This is actually
you
the
could
first
also
time I've done
highlight.
a digital interview, and so dealing with that is definitely something I need to improve on.
Yeah, you could even buy a whiteboard and point your screen to it, or like use some sort of tablet. But yeah, I think overall, like all the information was there, and I could follow it. I think you could have also highlighted like maybe opportunities for extensions. So things like generate a set of Pokemon. Uh, that could be a completely different team or service focused on things like retention, prioritization, like encounter history, whatever, and that could be like
Hmm.
its own service. So I think you could have called out like this could be another component.
Hmm.
I think you solved the problem in a clear way. We talked about all the failure cases. I think if you made available Pokemon like a first class object in the database instead of this sort of like nested set, you could have like two benefits. One is better observability and tracking. So you could keep track of like we generated Pokemon at this time, it was caught at this time, it had like this many encounters and so on.
So you can kind of
Another
see the
thing is,
lifetime there. Yeah.
yeah, also like any sort of metadata you would need, like type and level and whatever,
Hmm.
could be stored in its own unit. I think also the that also lends itself to the second point where you split out this time-based eviction policy service or database into two, where you have one that's kind of like just all the Pokemon and when they expire, and then like a second one which is each Pokemon's ID and its metadata, and that has its own expiry.
Hmm.
That makes it a little bit easier to like, for example, if you need to mark an entry as expired, you don't have to get like the whole set of all the Pokemon.
Yeah, you
I don't
can
think
just
in
do it one
Reddit
at a
you can
time.
kind of poke nested items like in a set. You might have to know, you might have to like reference the whole blob in its entirety to be able to make any changes to it.
Yeah, that
Um,
does often make things difficult. Although in that case, I thought like the data set was small enough that it wasn't a huge deal to deal with that. And especially when we're doing per user, like you're probably dealing with 10 entities, and so like a set of 10 entities is pretty tiny. I did also address this directly, so I was saying like, this is not actually that much data, and so it probably fits within
yeah,
a read capacity unit. And it's not actually that much of a class. But yeah, it is something to consider there. The other, and
yeah,
again, I didn't state this, but I was thinking in my head, so probably some advice to everyone is like talk about all the things you're thinking about. Sometimes there's just too much in your head to talk about everything, which is probably one of the cases here. I was actually trying to optimize a lot for cost on not storing it in a persistent storage because like memcache can be a lot cheaper to run than a a key value store where you're actually persisting all your data and dealing with like um, encrypted values, backups, consistency, and like all of your all of your replica sets and all that other stuff. Whereas with memcache, you can kind of run it a lot more cheaply. But yeah, storing it persistently actually solves a lot of the thinking bits of the problem. And if you're at a
yeah. I think
sufficiently
you did
large company, you have infinite money, and so like cost is usually not a problem. It's more about the user experience.
yeah, yeah. I think you also did a good job of like balancing the details versus the big rocks. You mentioned things like CCPA, GDPR, um, other details related to
I also talked about fraud
yeah,
and
I'm just
like ways to abuse the system and like
yeah,
rate limiting and those other things which
yeah,
are useful to touch
authentication,
on.
things like that. Yeah, I would say like you know you could like it's good to sprinkle them in. I would say just like don't rabbit hole too much. I think you did a decent job balancing that. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, awesome job.
Cool. Well, thank you for doing this, Max. This was really awesome and gave
No
everyone in
worries.
chat like a good way to see how things kind of run for those that hadn't seen something like this before. I think this was pretty representative of how they kind of go. Again, like I was a little sparse on early details because I don't have an NDA with everyone in chat, and like at the end we
Yeah,
kind of skipped out and did a little fourth walling on how we kind of strategized for the end follow up questions. But I think like the technical portion in the middle was pretty much how how all of them run.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. Take care, dude. See ya.
Yeah. Do you want to if people can ask you further questions, can I tell them that you can answer them on Discord, or like what do you want to do there? We can just answer them in stream chat. Either Max
Yeah.
or I can address them.
I will probably log off. I guess if people ask questions in stream chat, maybe you could take it. And
Okay. Yeah,
I'm
I'll
on the
handle them then.
Discord, so if you got questions there.
Cool. Awesome.
Okay.
Well, thank you for stopping by, Max. This was really awesome. And I'll
Yeah, no
talk
worries.
to you later.
Good luck with your job hunt.
Yep, you too.
Yep.
Oh man, I said you too like a fucking weirdo. That's not what I meant. Max is just telling me out. Okay, anyway, let me put the audio back so that we can continue recording this. And then I will read through chat, read through notifications, and we will go from there. So let me get this back. Get some music going again. Got music. I'm gonna fill up my water. Then I will read through chat and notifications, and then we'll do some programming. Does that sound good? I gotta fill my water. I will be right back. See you guys in a sec. Oh, actually, before I go, let me delete this. Because we don't need to show this anymore. Delete. Yes. Okay, I'll be right back. Alright, we're back, chat. I got my water. I've already started drinking it because I don't know if you could tell, but my mouth was super dry by the end of it because of all the talking. So if I actually do this in reality, I'll probably have 2 glasses of water. But oh my goodness, let me catch up on notifications. File was in the trash. Let's see. Alizu, Yusuf, Vitorn, Wasser, Samurai V8, C. Evafin, Bryce Ida, Riza OSRS, Jot, Chanhuhu, JS Thamazon, and Jotaro Ham. Thank you all for the follow. Sorry I couldn't mention you until now, but welcome to the stream, and hello to all of you. And let me get through. Oh my god, there's so much chat. Do you guys want me to ignore chat, or do you want me to actually read through chat? Oh, there's actually so much chat that I can't read through chat because it is off screen. So if there's any questions that you guys have, you can re-ask them now. One thing that happened, a couple things that I wanted to talk about here is like I was roughly targeting like a senior to senior staff to principal level engineer, and so that was kind of the target that I was going for there. Note that Max doesn't play Pokemon Go, so this system was not exactly how Pokemon Go works. I actually do know, Pokemon Go and like how to play the game, and I know how it actually works behind the scenes because I was part of the crew that did some reverse engineering against the APIs, and so I kind of understand how all those work and how Niantic implemented a lot of their rate limiting and how they did a lot of their fraud detection and how it broke a lot of the mapping software. I was part of that community that actually built out a lot of that. I was super involved in like the 3 weeks that things were super popular there, so I kind of know a lot about how the actual thing works. So we didn't actually implement the real thing there. But okay, we're gonna skip chat then. But yeah. And we'll just jump into this. Kevin Joberg's 10x developer system sketch. Yeah, this is actually not all that different from how my sketch was for this. One thing that I will think about when I'm actually doing this for real is spend a lot more time building actual, blob diagrams and stuff like this. Sorry, Max said that he had an idea for a follow-up question. It would have been like a cool concept to implement as well, but we didn't actually get there. Alyssa says, do you save your VODs? Yeah, so they get saved on Twitch, but they also end up on YouTube as well, so you can check out my YouTube channel where I'll be uploading this later. Yeah, good question. Mainly me spamming today. Oh, I see. I propose we revisit this historic moment. Okay, is this me saying that's not how it works? Oh. Obsessed with a children's game. He's not wrong. I do play a lot of Pokemon. I don't play Pokemon Go, but I do play a lot of Pokemon, so it's fair. But anyway. JK says, if you want, I can share some thoughts about senior/principal level positions. I missed most of the interview and caught the analysis from Max. Okay, cool. Yeah. Feel free to talk about that stuff in the chat as well. Metalstorm says, really, I was a part of the reverse engineering of the prototypes and APIs for Pokemon Go, small world. Yeah. That was actually a really cool community. I was actually really sad when it all kind of collapsed in on itself and stopped being a thing. Summersoft says, is the Jamboard app actually viable in this case for whiteboarding? I don't know. What is Jamboard? Oh, yeah, I've seen this before. Is this their smart display or is this their yeah, oh, this is their smart display thing. I don't really have a tablet, so yeah. Don't quite have money to spend on this device here. Sorry, I'm answering some questions from Max. Away, Kevin Joberg says, also let me humble brag about my day 5 solution really heavy with it. Ah, it's in Crystal. Crystal's a cool language. Read this in. Solve part 2. This is super Ruby. I love it. Actually, I hate it. but it's very, very much how Ruby would work. Hey, what's up, Goncalo Palalio? Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, this is essentially what I did. This is almost exactly what I did. What is TR? It's like a map replace. I'm not familiar with that method because I don't write much Ruby. But mine actually looks a lot like that, although, the Python version of it. Well, actually, I'll show you the Sqlite version too, because Sqlite does not have parse binary by 2, so this is my equivalent of that. that fancy one line. And my Sqlite solution is actually amazing for this. So Sqlite does not have binary parse by 2. So here's my implementation of parse fixed length binary string. And again, I ran into the stupid thing where some of the functions in Sqlite are 0 indexed, and some of the functions in Sqlite are 1 indexed. But yeah, this was fun times there. Crystal is essentially Ruby, a compiled typed Ruby. It's kind of like, it's kind of like, what's another good analogy? It's almost like MyPyC, but like not, because it's a different syntax and it's a different language entirely. But it's heavily inspired by Ruby. I wrote some Crystal a couple years ago on Advent of Code, just to try it, which was cool. He already trashed the interview? Yeah. I mean, I don't blame him. Doesn't need to stick around in his box for forever. It's not super important. Yeah. I guess I can take a screenshot of it for those of you that want it. You will soon permanently... Oh, you just make a copy. Okay, perfect. I'll just do that. So that way I can share this with chat once I upload that video. Chazerma says, "Dang mobile, if you missed my message, thanks for this. It was really awesome." Well, I'm glad you appreciate it. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Separate language, but heavily inspired by Ruby. It's compiled and fast, like really fast. Yeah, it is pretty fast. Summerstuff says, "Well, not the whole kit, but the app itself is available without the display." Oh, I see. Cool. Speaker says, "So being fairly senior at a multinational company and around for a while, I may have a skewed view because I've been at a company for 20 years. Oh yeah, that's fair. That's fair. TR is an old Unix Clyde tool. Oh yeah, I've used TR the Clyde tool. Oh, that makes a lot of sense now. That's why it's called TR. I've used the command line tool. It's like text replace or something like that. That's what it stands for, right? And TR. Translate or delete characters. Yeah. So I've used it to like replace, characters with other characters. Gotta look away, haven't finished yet. Okay, that's fair, that's fair. Hey, what's up, Chico Codes? Hello, hello. Rexer says you did the ASC in SQL. Yeah. In Sqlite. Most of the like clever bits are a gadget that I figured out last year, which is to take input and partition it. This gadget here splits things on new lines and puts them into rows in a table. And the way it works is this special with recursive thing. So the way with recursive works is this essentially a base case plus a iteration case plus a termination case, represented as a union all. So this is our base case, this is our iteration case, and then this is our termination case. And so what I'm doing here actually isn't that hard to follow. We're taking a substring from the input and finding the first new line. So this is grabbing the first chunk up to the first new line, and then this is the rest of the input, so everything after that first new line. So that's the initial case. Then the next case, we again grab the first new line here, so that's what this looks like here. Or if there's no new line, we just produce the rest of the string. So this is, this only runs on the very last iteration. And then the second part is generating the rest. So, if there's a new line, if there's no new line, then it's the empty string. Otherwise, we chop off the first chunk that's not the new line and generate the new rest string. So this is kind of like a recursive algorithm to build out, one line at a time. This actually reads a lot similar to how you might implement something like this in a functional language. And then finally, we have our termination condition, which is just saying, run this recursion while the rest chunk, which is this chunk here, contains some string content. So while there's still something to parse. And this is actually, I've used this gadget in every single one of my Sqlite solutions. Oh, actually, not every single one. There was one where it was just 2 numbers as an input, and that was easy to implement without recursion because it didn't have a variable input. But yeah. Let me. We'll figure out what we're doing in a second, and then I'll change my actual thing, my title. Hey, what's up, Chico Codes? Hello, hello. Oh, I already said hello. Well, hello again. MyPyC, yes. Crystal equals Ruby but good. Yes, Cyberbunny. Chico Codes says, "Where's MXR? Did you get the job?" I mean, I'm not actually interviewing at Lyft, so the interviewer already trashed me and they didn't yet. Chestnut says, going to get a COVID test. Pray for me. Not sick, but I have to work closely with other people, so being more cautious. Later, y'all. Well, thanks for stopping by. Good luck with your test, and hopefully things go well there. Chicory says, I say the above for context only. A lot of my mentors have shared the following with me. The more senior you rise, the more the business starts to matter more. Your technical game can be flawless, but when you're a senior, you spend 50% of your time talking business. You have to be able to show the leadership how you will bring value to the org/company. Yeah, that's 100% true. Actually, I think it's higher than 50%. I think by the time I had left Lyft, I was spending nearly 70% of my time just organizing, involved with organization, getting buy-in from teams, and mentorship, and kind of leading in a broad manner instead of spending time churning out code. That's not to say that I wasn't productive at churning out code, because I still did a whole bunch of actual groundwork on stuff. A lot of white glove situations, but a lot of it was like, I built all these tools, I built all this stuff, like here's how we can use them, here's how we can leverage them across organizations and do stuff like that. But yeah, that's good advice, Jay Carey. Balance says, Ruby was my first language. I used it to make a script on RPG Maker when I was a kid. Ooh, that's cool. Metal Storm says, if you're not reading back through chat, what do you think about deterministic proc genning the Pokemon based on a user ID plus time plus geo? This way you don't need to store the Pokemon, don't need any locks. It means two players/clients can't get the same Pokemon, and all you need to do is validate the Pokemon. Hashing on the server side. Yeah, that is an interesting other way to do this. That would that would solve a lot of the problems. It also would eliminate a lot of the data storage. So that would be another cool solution to this. The constraints that the problem originally had, I don't know if you heard for the beginning Metal Storm, but the original problem was that users shared some of the same Pokemon, and so that necessarily took my design down a route where there had to be shared server state, and you couldn't just do generation based on deterministic generation based on time user ID and geohash. So the original problem had constraints that wouldn't have worked for. So and one thing that people look for a lot in system designs is as constraints change in the problem, you generally prefer less drastic changes as opposed to rewrites, because in larger organizations, it's much harder to get buy-in to do a full rewrite or a full relaunch of an application, partially because you already have users and customers, and like you can't just say, oh sorry, no features for 6 months while we do an internal refactor that you're not going to notice any difference after we launch. So like you generally prefer kind of incremental improvements, and like when a requirement changes in a problem, that might be something that you want to mention as well. It's like, okay, well, we may have launched this version of the app already, and so I could produce a different design which completely trashes all of our components and we go for a different approach. But I think we're going to try a more gradual migration towards a solution that works for whatever new constraints happen. Because that's how things actually work. But yeah, that would have totally worked, Metalstorm, 100%. Jikri says, I really like Ruby. It taught me a lot about programming. Yeah, Ruby's pretty cool. I wouldn't, the way I think about it, Ruby, Python, JavaScript, PHP are all basically the same language. It's just slightly different syntax. Like they have all, similar performance characteristics. They're all, a virtual machine that runs some amount of interpreted code over, some have a bytecode intermediary. Most of them, don't, but or I guess most of them don't do like any compiled or just in time. Of course, like you can add just in time compiled to those types of interpreted languages, and then you get things like V8 or PyPy or stuff like that, or HHVM or other things there. But no, they're all essentially the same language, just different syntaxes. Master Date says, do you just use SQL for fun, or is there a practical reason? It's for the memes. It's 100% the memes. Dave Version says, so I think I missed the context. Are you starting to interview again? Yeah, Max and I kind of wanted to practice some interviews just to like show how they work. Also, I thought it would be good content, so that was the primary reason for doing the mock interview was content. But also, yeah, I'm doing an interview next week, so I figured why not. Marksex says, does anyone else keep purchasing and enrolling in courses and then procrastinating doing any of them? Get good courses, says Tubeworm. Yeah. How's it going, Tubeworm? Good to see you. Hey, what's up, James Blaine? Hello, hello. What's a white glove situation? So I'll give you context from, oh, I just got water all over my face. So I'll give you context from a situation where I had a white glove scenario. The idea behind white gloves is you put on white gloves and then you jump into the problem that you didn't necessarily want to deal with, and so that's why you're putting white gloves on. But in the context of software and migrations in particular, the idea behind a white glove approach is, you know, you're doing a mass migration across many teams, and not all teams have the ability to prioritize and complete all that work. And so what you necessarily have to do sometimes is the like infrastructure people guiding this migration will have to jump in and work, you know, on the front line and do individual services for migration. So like an example in the Python 3 migration, although I built out all of the tooling and infrastructure that made that possible, and although all the directors had prioritized all that work, in reality, people didn't actually, you know, commit or adhere to those commitments and, you know, allocate engineering resources to solve their team's services. And so I, as the infrastructure person, had to jump in and do a bunch of actual individual services myself. So that's kind of white glove as well as an example. Tubeworm says, how do they share Pokemon? So in the actual game, like everyone in a region will see the same Pokemon. They can all catch their own individual copy of that Pokemon. In the actual problem Max set aside, you could all see the same Pokemon, but only one person could encounter them, which made the problem slightly more interesting in that you had to have, you know, checked out versions of that Pokemon. And then we scrapped that idea and had, you know, each individual sees their own subset of Pokemon and nothing overlaps. Hey, what's up, Z3? Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. I don't know if you know about Z3, but Z3 is a solver. I've actually used it in one problem in Advent of Code in 2018 because I struggled for so long to do three-dimensional projections and intersections and just like never really got to a point where things were well resolved. And so we just use Z3, which is a constraint solver, to solve the problem. Hey, what's up, Glue Scott? Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. GK says, at some point you'll need to make a choice, management or stay technical. Both are rewarding, but will allow continued promotion, and the other will allow for continued immersion in technology as part of your day job. Yeah, that's kind of true, unfortunately. I found that towards the end of Lyft, I was doing more management and less technical breadth, and like mostly getting my technical fix from outside of work, where I was working on open source and other stuff like that. But yeah, it is definitely like an unfortunate but necessary dichotomy as you continue to promote. J. Carey says there's probably more in Dave Thomas's book, and theory topics that I liked just seem to click for me. Oh, nice, cool. Senpa says, hey Anthony, will you try any other languages for Advent of Code, or do you plan to stick with Python plus Sqlite for now? Probably gonna stick for Python and Sqlite. I'm definitely gonna do all my primary solutions in Python, just because I want to go fast. And maybe I'll try some other meme stuff, but I think we're going to try Sqlite meme stuff until it gets too hard to actually implement. Because, yeah, there's probably going to be a point where Sqlite is just, is just not tenable for doing stuff. Baldana says, one thing about the mock interview is that you said the S poop word. Yeah, I mean, I did, but that's, you know, it depends on the place you're interviewing. It really isn't a big deal. You know, it's okay to say something is a shitty solution if it's actually a shitty solution. But yeah, if you're interviewing at a place where you're trying to be a lot more professional, then yeah, you would probably want to consider and code your language such that it's not going to be that way. Tuberm says, big bloom filter of caught Pokemon problem solved in my heart. You can solve any of the tasks in Malboj. I will pleasure you in any way you want. Bonk! Goddamn! Says if they care about that, then it's a litmus test. That's also true. Jason says, can you make a variable parameterize default to some value instead of having to declare it each time? Yes. So you can use stacked parameterize. So you can do something like import pytest.mark.parameterize. You could say like foo is always the value 1, or maybe you have multiple values for foo like this. And then you could do pytest.mark.parameterize, and maybe you have more things here, which is like bar and baz, and you know, have some value for all those. If you're actually doing one constant, I would just inline it though. 1, 2, I don't know, 3, 4, something like this. And this will generate the cross product across all of these parameterizers. But yeah, that's how you do that with parameterize. I think I go over this in my parameterize video. I'm not 100% certain. Maybe someone could confirm that or not. If it's early enough, then we have code for it, and I can just look at the code. 27? Yeah. Let's look at Rev 4 if I went over this. I did not. Okay, maybe I'll do another video about that then. Explain stacked parameterize. Oh, that's not how I do that. Bang video idea. Stacked parameterize. I thought I had gone over that, but I guess not. Huh. That would have been a useful thing to talk about. I guess you can't go over everything, and this was already a long video if I remember correctly. Yeah. Let's see if any of the other revisions. Nope, they all have individual things there. Cool. Okay. Yeah, well I can go over that. Okay, let's adjust my stream for what I'm actually gonna be working on now. Let's see, python/terraform/aws commit.ci work. Let's just say misc. Then we'll do set today. Misc work on ABC precommit.ci. Let's see what we do today. Oh, May, what happened? My little chat marker went away. Twitch, what are you doing? Oh, there it is. Okay. Jake J24 says, oh dear, day 5 part 2, and I run out of knowledge. I know nothing about binary and could figure it out. Well, if you got part 1, you should be able to use part 1 to do part 2. Right? It's really just like numbers at that point. The parsing is the hard part. Once you've got the parsing done, the actual thing is tricky. Metal Storm says, I haven't touched code in the last 2 years at work, just managing large teams of devs. All my programming comes from projects at home to keep me sane. Kevin Stolberg says, last year I had to use ncurses to solve part 2 of some 10+ day problem. I guess that would be hard in Sqlite. Yeah. I also had to do that one in curses. Let's see. I can show that one. That one's actually really cool. I was actually really happy with my solution there. I gotta move this into the right place. Oops, move. Not specified. Okay, yeah. So I wanted to move in the first place. I'm glad I didn't do copy. That would have been messy. Git grab ncurses. Git grab curses. Here we go. Day 13, part 2. I forget how it worked. Day 13 pot. CD day 13. I think I had environment variables to make it go fast or slow. Let's see, because it was an int code problem. Someone just knocked on my door. I will check that in a second. Remind me to look at my door. Okay, mode equals manual, fast, and normal. So if we do mode equals manual, Python. You know, it gave you this, and you could manually play it out. Of course, it's really hard to win manually. And then there was a normal mode, which had like a little sleep in it, and you could see it play this little game, and we made sure that it was colored nicely so that it rendered, you know, kind of a cutesy little graph, and had them all have consistent colors and look kind of cool. But yeah, this was This was that. Oh, and the scores in the bottom left too, which was kind of cool. And then if we want to make it go hyper fast, there's a mode equals fast, which just lets it go crazy zoom in. And you can see at the end, like, it kind of struggles to get the last few. They slowly tick away. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Boop. But anyway, yeah, that would have been. So I probably could have still done this in cursive or in Sqlite, because the actual part of the problem wasn't that hard. Oh, I did this in Ruby also. Yeah, like I don't think my Ruby one actually renders the code. But the actual program logic is not hard. It's really just like this function callback, and handling this function callback. So even though I couldn't visualize it here, this, you know, is still possible to implement here. I don't think the Ruby one actually renders anything. Vape Juice Jordan has raided me with a party of 173. Oh my goodness, that's so many people. Welcome, raiders. I know Vape Juice Jordan was talking about admin and code earlier, but I don't think that's happening anymore, and now I am so far behind on chat. But let me give a shout out to Vape Juice Jordan, one of the other programmers. But welcome everyone. What were you working on today? How were your nudes, Jordan? I assume you were totally done with admin code and like was like, fuck this noise. I'm gonna do I'm gonna do you know, your project now. J.K. says, of course you go the serial entrepreneur route. Lots of excitement about business and technology. Your pre-commit vision is good. Nice. Just finding some business mentors to help you sell this to your target audience. Yeah, I do plan to talk through. I actually have a bunch of friends that are, you know, essentially the business entrepreneur, biz dev type of people. I'm gonna go talk with some of them. I also have some VC friends. I hate to say that I have VC friends, but I have VC friends, and so I'm gonna think them about building that out as well. You can also use hypothesis to generate a bunch of tests. Yep, that's true. Uno dos tres. Uno dos three. Sorry. Captain says, what was the interview about? Are you getting into system design? So as part of like senior interviews, you tend to do system designs a lot, and so it's just a flavor of interview that happens a lot, and so yeah. We designed a system for a fake Pokemon Go that doesn't actually work the way Pokemon Go works. Kevin Joberg says, did you ever get back to adding recursive bang commands in chat? I did not. We can do that real quick. I think that's not going to be too hard. But I want to see what Jordan worked on first. Before that. Jordan didn't talk in chat. Or I missed it. Where are you, Jordan? I don't see your little verified checkmark. Maybe Jordan had a bounce. That's fine. But yeah, we can do that. Because I don't really have any plans for what I want to work on today. So this is just kind of let's see, recursive banging. we'll make all of those work. Jake24 says, I couldn't figure out what part was asking me about. Which thing? I have lost the context already. Oh, day 5. Oh, I see. Knowles TV says, why Nano over say PyCharm? So it's not actually Nano. Thank you to Brian for posting the link. Is that AI? Watch Older Bear says, this is from last year. Indeed it is. Mine looked like shit aesthetically in comparison. Oh yeah, I spent a lot of time making the curses look nicely. Because this was right as I was working on Babby, and so I had a lot of experience in like trying to get things colored and pretty and showing up. Greetings, Jordaners, indeed. Hey, what's up, Senpais? And Leaf, how's it going? Wait, Leaf, did you change your name? Or is there someone else who has the same name as you? That is also in my chat and has the same set of badges. Hey, what's up, Nick Ray? Hello. Gary Cuddles, how's it going? Ryan Hawkins, good afternoon to you as well. Oh no, the Vape Nation has arrived. Vape Nation. 100 more viewers and we'll beat the duck stream, comrades. Matt Maker says, what a keyboard. Yeah, if you do bang keyboard, thank you, Tuborg. He says banging, bonk incoming. Recursive banging, risky Google search of the day. It's true. Leaf Me says, wait, what? Somebody stole my name? Yeah, I saw someone else with basically, it looked exactly, they had the same color too. Huh. There's an imposter among us. That was me? Okay. Then I will trust that it was you, Leaf Me, and that I am just misremembering that their name was slightly different. Unless you changed your name. I don't know. I could just be losing my mind. That's also possible too. Okay, so let's actually move this out of the way because otherwise I'm going to forget again. Move AOC 2019 to be underscored so that I don't accidentally tab complete it. And then we will see to our bot. So the plan. Oh, it was lowercase. That's what it was. You uppercased your name. See, you did change your name. Why don't you just say you changed your name? J-Sweat says, anything, just get my 3-line message. Oh no. I'm sorry. How can I get the value of a function in PyTest parameterized where I need to give temp path as an argument to that function? It won't detect it in parameterized because temp path is unknown there. So you could combine fixtures with parameterization. You can't actually use fixtures in a parameterization though. Oh, damn, where did I put that t.py? But if you did like def test foo, you can have temp path here, and then you can have, you know, your actual things from parameterize here. Mark.parameterize, you know, foo bar. So yeah, you can actually have, you can add fixtures here along with your parameterization. So this can be separate, specified separately. Sorry, there was just so much chat, James Boyan. My bad. But I got you. If I ever skip you in chat, it's not no hard feelings. Just ask your question again, and I will hopefully answer it. But yeah, that's how you can do this. If that helps you, hopefully. Okay, so let's get the silly bangs working. I think it's gonna be easy. We just need to make the input recognize a bunch of bangs. Bot/data. I think it's really just adjusting all of these redrexes. So bang plus message RE. Not a bang plus. And then bang plus. The problem here is we probably have one colon somewhere, so we probably need to fix that. L strip bang. I need to put another damn. If command match command equals command match command dot L strip bang dot lower plus bang. If command in commands return commands comma message match. Got it? I think. So then Python bot. Oops. Oh, did that just disconnect this? Can somebody talk in chat? Say one message in chat. Say hi. Anything. Please? Please, please? Okay, cool. It's still working. Thank you, senpais. To do bang bang today. Shit. I think it was a CMD match. Yeah. No handler. That's not working. Oh my goodness, another raid! Some coding guy, welcome to the stream. What were you working on today, some coding guy? There's a shout out so that my viewers can check you out as well. But welcome, welcome. Building a game, nice, nice. More low-level stuff, or have you switched to more high-level stuff? Because I know you're usually at like your crazy little 8-bit game, which is really, really cool. and like raw assembly sort of stuff. Okay, this is not working. Why is this not working? Fantasy Express, we're answering the question for how the treasures end up in the boxes in every other game. Ah, cool. Hey, thank you for the resub, some Cody guy. Welcome, welcome. 3 months. 3 months of subdom. I feel like I've known you for so much longer than 3 months, but I guess it's only been 3 months. But appreciate the subscription as always, and I'm glad you stopped by. It's always good to see you. I've been super busy recently, so I haven't been able to watch many streams. But I'm hoping to check out your stream more often. Why is this not working? It should be going through. Let's see. Get handler. So it should be going through this bit of code here. It should be that. Oh, we should also be handling this too as well. So that should handle this now. Okay, so we're getting unknown command. That's the wrong thing, but we've at least fixed the command not found. Why are we not? Oh, I'm a dum-dum. And we should probably just F-straighten this bad boy. So now it should work. Hey! And does single bang work? Hey! And no bang does not work. Okay, cool. And help. That works as well. Cool. Hey, what's up, Sardini? Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Hopefully you are doing well. But let me restart the bot so that we can get that. Allow recursive banging. This isn't actually recursive banging. It just allows a bunch of different bangs to work as well. So if we restart the bot now you can do bang 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 Kevin's Joburg. That should work. You can do bang 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 today. Oh wait, bang bang doesn't work? Wait, why didn't that work? What, did you catch it while the bot was down? No, it worked for me. Oh, it was just while the bot was down. You happened to race my restart there. Dude, TDO. Oh, some Cody guy. Have you seen this new thing that I did? Who wants to get chat plotted? Belnathos. Well, actually, we'll do it. We'll do a chat plot of some Cody guy. We'll put you on the spot. There's this brand new feature that we added to the bot, which shows engagement over time, and so you can see your downward trending graph. But anyway, if there's more data, it looks a little bit more interesting. So if we do like chat plot of Juicebox Hero, for instance, you can see exactly the date when we're going to break up. Of course, it's you know, it's weighted a lot based on days that you miss, and so I probably need to improve the trend algorithm. Because every time I stream and you get a 0, that hurts the graph a lot more. So if you ever miss a stream, it's much worse than like showing up to a stream. So yeah, I've been trending down to trying to do YouTube more. Ah, I see. That makes sense. I've been doing a lot of YouTube as well, but I guess not a lot of YouTube. I've been doing a lot of short videos. He says trading GNO plus JavaScript make him sweat. Oh. Why did you put bang to the end of command though? Oh, because I'm a dumb simpaz. I ended up fixing it. Leaf Me says, didn't you love spending an hour writing a method to strip rubbish from a string and then realize there's a simple regex that does the exact same thing, right? Thu TDS says, hello, I'm new to Python and question, is this easier to use Conda for installing Tesseract for an OCR project? Yeah, probably would be easier to use Conda unless there are pre-built wheels for pip, and then it would be fine. It would be fine. One guy was making a Python script to get prices on CPUs. I see. Kevin, is this how you wanted it to work, or did you want something more complicated? Because this actually seems kind of simple. Hey, what's up, Cam? Welcome, welcome. With the no regex emotes. Yeah, pay no attention to the regexes that I just modified. Everything is okay there. Nothing is a problem. Stonks, indeed. Everyone's chat plot. Conda easier, I disagree. I mean, I don't like Conda myself, Summersoft, but if you haven't worked with Python before, and you're trying to install a package that has lots of chunky, annoying binary dependency stuff, then, you know, it's going to be a little bit easier to install stuff there. I would not recommend Conda for long-term stuff, but if you're just trying to build something, it's not, it's not the worst for getting things working there, I guess, ish, kinda. But yeah. Anyway, that's my explanation for Conda. RGD3 says, assuming you didn't always use an ergonomic keyboard, how long did it take you to get back up to the same pace as standard keyboard, if you even remember? Yes, I do remember. That's a good question. So I have not actually gotten up to the same pace as my other keyboard, partially because I think it's not possible to be at the same pace. On my normal standard keyboard, I can type at about 130 words per minute. On this one, I top out at about 120. Partially because some of the techniques that I used on a standard keyboard, I cheated, and that allowed me to type faster. Like I'm much more dexterous, even though I'm right-hand dominant. I'm much more dexterous typing with my left hand, and so if that is touching more of the keys, I actually type a lot faster. But on this keyboard, I can't. I would cross over to type the Y. I would cross over occasionally to type N's. Like I wouldn't be able to have all of those sort of things. But I got this keyboard out of the box, and the first typing test that I ran was at 97 words per minute. So with no prep at all, I had never used a split keyboard before. I was already, essentially up to a speed where it doesn't matter how fast you type. And within like a handful of tries, I had gotten up to, 110, 115. Oh my goodness, Kevin! Oh, right, I owe you buttons. Thank you for the gift subs, Kevin! Let's see. Broccoli Rob. We've got Josh Finney at 2 months. We've got Brainwashed at 2 months. We've got Leonetta at 3 months. And Summersoft at 2 months. And, get your buttons ready there. But thank you for the gift subs. Really appreciate that. Ali35 Ali, thank you as well for the Summersoft has also gifted 5 subs. Let's see, who do we got now? Dr. Graybeard, we've got EL1997, and I got no buttons left, chat. We got a little hunch down there. I got no buttons left. And we've got Tenchi Masaki, we've got Cat PW, and we've got T-Ter4 at 2 months. Thank you for the gift subs, really appreciate that. And hopefully you all got your fancy Christmas emotes out of that as well, due to the Twitch, whatever it's called, the seasonal thing. But thank you again for those gift subs, really appreciate that. Oh my goodness, outdated version! Triggering that hype train. Pythonic Pie, 5 months of gift sub. Thank you for the 5 gift subs, outdated version, by the way. Q Matrix at 1 month, Neely at 3 months, Watch Older Bear at 1, and Totally Sane at 1. Thank you for the gift subs. And I like how that just takes us straight to level 4 hype train. Like, boop, done, easy. But thank you for the gift subs. Appreciate all of that. Appreciate all your continued support as well. Hey, what's up, Marco Dev? Hello, hello. And Konik, how's it going? Exposed, yeah. Toby won with the Craigasm, yeah. Kevin's Joburg has gifted a sub to Marco Dev, who has now been subbed for 3 months. Thank you for the gift sub again, Kevin's Joburg. You are too kind, and now we can do bang 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 bang. Kevin's Joburg. Kevin's Joburg. There we go. Kevin, stop spending money you don't have. Oh my goodness. But again, I really appreciate that. Yeah, everyone with their new emotes, so fancy, so nice. But thank you for all those gift subs. Okay, so I have some stuff. Oh, music has stopped. We will continue that. Let the notifications continue to run. Recursive banging done. It sounds so weird. Okay, but I had a few to-dos that I came up with after stream for pre-commit CI, and some of them are going to be pretty simple and straightforward to do. Oh, that emote is so adorable. What is it? 2020 rivalry. What is that referring to? Do you know what that's referring to? I don't know what it's referring to. So last time we finished the emailer thing, and I think I've been enabled for the emailer, so now I can send an email from my other account to, let's say, security at precommit.ci, test security email, test. And I think everything is hooked up, so I should receive an email in a few tens of seconds here, showing that this is working end to end. I think. Yay! Okay, it worked. So this is the email that I sent. So you can see that we get, if we reply, we get a reply to the original sender. So this is where I sent it from. I sent it from my umesh address, and you can see that it was sent to precommit ci plus prod. Oh, we probably need it to also say oh, okay, yeah, it says from security at precommit.ci. Okay, so that tells us what email address it went to. Okay, cool. But yeah, that part is working, but I don't have spam filtering working on that, so I will have to work on that. The demo gods were slow, it's true. Famous last words. Yeah, right, Double Kid? NotVPN says, how did you get it to bypass spam? Mine all go to junk/spam. What service are you using to send emails, NotVPN? I'm using SES. We know your university email. Yeah, of course you know it because it's the email that I use on GitHub. So everyone already knows that. You also know the pre-commit email. Pre-commit CI, cool. You also know the Gmail here, pre.commit.ci. Like none of these are private. None of these are sensitive. Actually, I'm gonna go fill up my water. I will be right back. I've done a lot of talking today. So I will see you guys in a sec with filled water. And we're also at the 2-hour mark where I usually fill up water anyway. So I will see you in a sec. Be right back. Hello, I'm back. I've got my water. How are you doing? I use Mailgun. Is that the... Oh, that's the service. Huh. That's weird that you get spam filtered. I'm just using Amazon's SES. Then again, I'm not sending like mass emails. I'm just forwarding emails along, so it's not, a lot, not too terrible. Senpai says, do you know any languages that have sorting functions as convenient as in Python? The key is so good. I hate the CMP functions in other languages. Yeah, that is a pretty convenient API. I wonder... I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I assume there are others that have similar stuff. In C++, I know you can specify a comparator function, which is also similarly helpful. Oh, I forgot to mention, for those of you that weren't here for the beginning, and those of you that are asking, I cut my face while shaving, like, really badly. And so that's why I have a bandage on my face. But yeah, that's what that's about, if you notice that. I've been using usert there in compare function. It's different from Python. Oh, does PHP have one? Interesting. Hey, what's up, Sarcastic Sunday? Hello, hello. Are you wearing a shirt that has the Windows logo? I think it actually looks more like the Slack logo, personally. But no, it's just a shirt that I got from Gap. But yeah, it does kind of look like the Windows logo. I think it looks more like the Slack logo though. But it is neither. It just happens to be that way. Kevin says, getting late here, time to hit bed. Well, thanks for stopping by, Kevin, as always, and thank you again for the gift subs. Really appreciate that. RDG3 says, I've had that problem with Mailgun. Some of their IPs have super weak reputations. I see. Leaf Me says, I forgot my NPM password. Oh no, well, at least you didn't lose your NPM password. James Wynn says, just as an example, would you write this like this, or would you yeet the two functions to tuple level? Let me open this off stream first. Okay. Test FFmpeg subprocess temp-path capsys. Yeah, I would make separate tests for this. You might. Yeah, I would probably make this a fixture, and then have two tests which take that as a fixture. So what you could do here is, let me edit. Yeah, down here. What I would do is take. We have get sample. Anyway, we can do like pytest.fixture get sample, which takes temp path, and retrieve your sample here. And then have these individual tests. I'm not gonna be able to dedent, but you can have like, what did we name our function? Actually, sample black or whatever. Oh no, I did Control-Shift-C. Hey, what's up, Psyhack? Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. And then you would dedent these, but I, of course, can't dedent these, so you didn't actually use temp path in here, right? No, we just use mfile. Okay, cool, perfect. This one doesn't actually use temp path either. Yeah. So instead of mfile, you would use sample flac here. And so then these would be two separate tests, and like you would join your sample data construction in this fixture here. And if this is immutable, like you don't need to change this at all, you could increase the scope of this. So you could say like scope equals session. That way it only gets set up and torn down once. But you got to be careful with this if you're mutating the data, because it's really easy to make, cross test pollution via this. But that's how I would do it. RDG says, if you set up SPF DKM on the sending domain, all of the little things that make email a little less Wild West help get emails into the inbox. I see. Get close to my city. It's a shoe now. I see. Ginger the guinea pig says, hello, humans. Just stopping in to say hi. Well, hello, Ginger. How are you doing? Yellow Schmo says, hello, hello. Just here for my chat plot dot for the day. Welcome to the stream, Yellow Schmo. So I guess Johnny says, I usually cut myself with those awkward, unconfident movements out of nowhere. Yeah, today I sneezed while I was shaving, which it also like came out. Normally you like know when a sneeze is coming. This was one of the ones that I was like tired and it surprised me, and it just happened to be while I was shaving, which is not a good combination at all. And it was just like, and then It didn't start bleeding immediately, so I was like, maybe I'm fine, but then it just started gushing, and it was awful, but... Anywho. NotVPN says, have you got your GitHub education pack? Don't open on stream as it has unique keys. I have not, although I am not in school, so I think I shouldn't get one, even though I have an edu email address. So, Vods says, just do the math for Juice chat plot. If the trend continues, it will get negative on January 30th. Oh no. He says, can you remind me how I use f strings in Python? Belnothis has that. So that's how you do it. F is the prefix, and then curly brace substitution parameters. Watch says, today Sneasel is shaving famous last words, right? Sneasel shaving sounds like a Final Destination scene. It totally does. My god. What kind of razor to use? Just cheap razors. Cheap disposable razors. But I use them for multiple days because I'm cheap myself. I don't know what a safety razor is. I don't really want to Google it either. Let's see. Safety razor. I assume... Whoa. What the fuck? That looks so cool. What in the hell is going on here? Lup! Thank you for the resubscription with Prime after 2 months. Straight razors are fantastic. After upfront, man, I don't trust myself with a straight razor. You know, I would super cut myself with that. The safety razor thing looks cool. It also looks terrifying. It also looks like it's... Oh, I guess I can show you guys. It also looks like it's something out of like a horror film where you're just like... but anyway. Usually I'm pretty good about shaving. This is the first time that I've cut myself this badly. But yeah. You can get one of the edu email address. Yeah, I just feel like it would be not... I have an Umish email address, and I can make infinite of them. I just feel like that's not, what's the word? Ethical. But anyway, what was I doing? Oh, we're gonna do spam filtering. So I have a bookmark for this. Let me actually just move slower here because it's not important. I have a bookmark for this. Where is it? I don't have a bookmark for this. I could have sworn I bookmarked this page. Spam detection, sample string, Wikipedia. So there's a string G2, that's what it is. There's a string where if you send in an email, most spam detections will automatically detect this as spam. Gmail actually doesn't, which I find interesting. But we're gonna... Well, that was weird. I see. Pardon the interruption, but it's important. We'll cut to the chase. 90%, 98% of our readers don't give. They simply look away. I'm trying to guilt trip me into... I have contributed to Wikipedia in the past, though, so I feel like it's still worth it. Upbeatman says, your GitHub is lit AF, 5,700 contributions. Yeah, that's without showing the private contributions. That's my other account. And my other accounts, I guess, too. This is what it looks like with private included. When I included private and I actually had a real job, this was at like 9 to 10,000. So it's, you know, it's dropped off a bit since I've been focusing more on building infrastructure and not doing massive changes. But hey, what's up, Rima? Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. I have the best. Oh, you are github.com/VPN? What? You have the fabled VPN username? That's amazing. That's crazy. That's cool. How can you make infinite.edus? My university has a groups feature. And you can actually email me at herp.derp@umish.edu. But you can create infinite groups and reassign them. So all good. Remus says, I can't believe I wasn't following. Sorry, no, it's all good. I appreciate the follow. Welcome, welcome. Hey, what's up, X Plays? How's it going? Yeah, herp.derp, isn't that great? So funny story about herp.derp. I used to be an instructor at for intro to programming, and we would manage a mailing list where people would ask questions called 183 help. And occasionally when people would ask like really, really dumb questions, I would reply as herp.derp. Only one student noticed it. Or at least only one student commented on it. I'm sure some others noticed it, but it was pretty funny. I didn't always do it on really bad questions. Sometimes it was on questions that were reasonably good. But sometimes I just did it to be funny. I also have, I think, Rafflecopter. Let's see what other ones I have. Groups.mish.edu. Oh, that's not what it's called. I'm doing this off screen because I think it shows personal information. Oh, it's gonna make me log in too. Oh, it's gonna make me two-factor. Christ. Let me log into my... Alright, send me the push notification. There we go. My groups. Oh, they actually expire soon, so I should renew them. Yeah, I think none of these are sensitive, other than my full name. Maybe I shouldn't show my full name. Let me remove that. Although a lot of you already know my full name, but please don't share in chat. Yeah, I think that's good now. Okay. But anyway, these are the groups that reach me. Anthony So Silly, Ace Doing 2, Eggs Benedict, Harp Darp, Herp Derp, and Rafflecopter. I don't know why the dots aren't showing here, but there are dots here. Hey, what's up, Brute Nox? Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream, and I can create as many groups as I want. I'm actually going to renew these because I have to renew them once a year, otherwise they expire. So I gotta come in here and click, and I haven't done it enough times to automate it with like damn it, it showed my full name in the title. Oh well, fuck it. You guys know. I haven't done this enough times to automate it, but I'll probably do a cron at some point. Oh, sounds like it can be abused. Yeah, it can 100% be abused. Everyone says you're the worst. Arctic Code Vault contributor. Literally everyone who had contributed at some point in time in, before 2020 should have this badge. As long as you contributed to a repo that had more than 1 star and was public. Apparently the top 3 that they picked for me were VS Code, Go, and Kubernetes. Ooh. But yeah, a lot of stuff there. Developer Program Manager member. Oh yeah, I'm part of the developer program because I need it to test GitHub Enterprise when I get to that point. Ravenous. Wait, your full name isn't Anthony Writes Code? Yes. Actually, that's pretty funny because I've signed up to some services using just my email address and no name, and they like parse my name out of my email address and then say, "Dear Mr. Anthony Writes Code." It's just like, well, you're clearly a form email that put in too much effort but also not enough at the same time. But yeah, I am Mr. Writes Code. What is the extension between Bitwarden and uBlock? This is Tampermonkey, which I did a video on this, which it allows me to customize any website using user scripts. And the one that we have installed right now is called AutoCaps. This is one that we made on stream. It's a little bit memey. It's because I don't like pressing the shift key, because I think pressing the shift key and periods are for boomers. But now, the beginning of a sentence is capitalized, and then I can do space to type a period. Also, it works for like bullets and bangs and questions. But anyway, we created an auto capitalization because it was fun. But anyway. I thought it meant you were part of the actual project. No, it just meant that I contributed code. It's actually Anthony Acetuli. Yeah. Anyone has a counter to how many times Anthony has done a Anthony Leaks full name? I think it's been 3 times now. One of them was my brother in chat, not actually being a, cognizant thinker at that point. But hey, what's up, RJs Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Robin says my Arctic code vaults are prettier Laravel and downshift. Ooh, cool. The writes code is his mid. Anthony writes COD. It should be writes COD, right? Sarcastic Dante says my Arctic vault contribution includes pre-commit. It's true. It's true. That means my full name. Oh my god! What are you saying, Bix Plays? I'm so confused. Arde says, I started to learn Python recently. Do you have any suggestions to me? I can't focus and motivate myself. Any suggestion will work. I would suggest working on, find a project that you will be personally motivated to work on. So like build something that you want to see for yourself. Maybe you're like automating a task that you do a bunch, or maybe you want to like, build a game for yourself. Maybe you want to cheat at a game. You want to build like some optimization thing. Like I'll give you an example for games that I did. So I used to play a lot of Minecraft. One thing in Minecraft that you have to do is find the stronghold. In order to find the stronghold, you need to like triangulate Eyes of Ender to figure out like, they go in a direction, and if you throw a bunch of them from a bunch of different places, you can kind of imagine those lines intersecting at a particular point. And so I wrote a little app where you would put in the coordinates where your Eye of Ender started and where it landed, and then you could, run a series of equations and find approximate places where those would, intersect. And so you write a program that does that for you. I learned a bunch of math for it. I learned how to write a Windows form app. Like I did a bunch of cool stuff like that. But yeah, I would recommend like building a function or building a project for yourself. Everybody says my top 3 is Fastlane, CocoaPod Specs, and Swift Core Lives Foundation. Nice. Tamper Monkey is dope. Yeah, Tamper Monkey is pretty amazing. Defo May. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Left XYZ? Good to see you again. If you press Shift at the start of a sentence, doesn't it uncapitalize it? No, it leaves it capitalized. We thought of that. So if you do, Shift Hello World, it leaves it capitalized. Also, we thought about this as well. If you select something and type something, it leaves it uncapitalized, but if you do it here, it capitalizes it. So we thought of more of the edge cases than the last person that we tried someone else's auto capitalization, didn't really work. Fullland, thank you for resubscribing with Prime for 2 months. Appreciate the resubscription. Welcome back. It's good to have you. Sorry. Does it know all nouns though? No. Yeah, the thing just like the email scraper just like super guessed at the split of the name. It basically just picked like first names and then assumed the rest was the last name. Really bad scrapers. The scripts that scrape LinkedIn for title information emails can be quite funny. Yeah. The other ones that I think are really funny are the GitHub scrapers. So like I've contributed a documentation change to like a ton of large projects. Like I guess I have actually contributed code to Docker now, but my first commit to Docker was just documentation change. And so I got a recruiter email that was like, we're really impressed with the work that you've done with Docker. We're wondering if you'd be interested in interviewing for our DevOps job. And it's like, dude, I changed a typo in a markdown file. Like, chill out. Although I have actually modified Docker, so that's something that's happened. We want Max writes code. Yeah, maybe I can convince Max to stream some more. I'd love to get him on the stream more often because he's a fun personality. He knows a lot, and yeah, he's a smart, fun guy. But yeah, maybe we'll get Max in the stream more often. Oh, I'm saying Mr. T's name is Mr. T. I was so confused by what we were saying. Slade Wilson says, is it possible to store a third API data in my database? Yeah, you could store data in your database. The tricky part with storing other people's API data in your database is you have to make sure that they allow you to do that. Some have licensing on the data that prevents storing of data. Like one example is the Google Places API says that you cannot cache their data, which I think is hilarious. And literally everyone who uses Google Places caches it. But they want to have, they recognize that caching the Places API makes it so that the query workload is much lower, and so then they can't charge as much. But yeah, literally everyone under the sun caches Google Places, though. What's up, Azure FR? Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Rima says, have you considered setting up Pi-hole instead of using browser extensions like uBlock? I was so tempted to do it myself. Yeah, I have, but it's also a lot of work. Aiden says, damn bro, I'm starting with part 2 of day 1. Part 2 of day 1? How did you do part 1? Part 2 is essentially the same as part 1. Yeah, what's up, Climb to Fail? Hello, hello. With the pogs! And leave me with the pogs! Minecraft really made great developers. That's the reason I'm bad, because I didn't play Minecraft. Change Kubernetes and get a G job. I don't want to work at Google. Do a podcast? Ooh, a podcast would be cool. I don't want to be like that millennial person that's like, well, now I have a podcast. Come read my or listen to my podcast. You know what I mean? Like everyone and their grandma starts a podcast. I don't want to be that person. Taniwa says, my first Docker commit was in 2013. The example is a great community. Ah. I actually knew a bunch of the people that used to work at Docker, but also worked on some of the core foundation stuff there, which is kind of cool. Played Minecraft for years. Never once thought about coding for it. Guess I'm a special kind of programmer. Just wanted to program when starting using Linux and running utils for my own usage. Nice, nice. Yeah, you two were on the same page there. 9%. I'm both Pi-hole and a bunch of other browser extensions, and still Twitch shows that those bullshit Amazon series ads. Yeah, Twitch has a very clever approach to ads that I actually can't talk about. Because unfortunately I am bound by NDA there. But let's just say Twitch does it differently than other people. That's why it's harder to get blocking in there. By the way, before Docker was written in Go, it was in Python. Yes. Actually, some of the precursors to Docker Compose were also written in Python so that it could integrate directly with Docker. And I actually worked with the precursor of Docker Compose when I was working at Yelp. Hey, what's up, TBD Gamer? Oh, a raid! Thank you for the raid, TBD Gamer. My viewers should check out TBD Gamer. Yeah, another raid. We've had so many raids today. It's so cool. But welcome, welcome. What were you working on today, TBD Gamer? Hey, what's up, Slade Wilson? Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. The best way to block all ads is to use Turbo. Yeah, or to subscribe. What's up, Ancient Coder? Hello, hello. And Angeline X, how's it going? Saturday, the day of raid. It's true, it's true. Ooh. Working on a site to help promote developers who stream. Oh, that's really cool. That's really awesome. What sort of how much is done? How's it going? Subscribing won't stop the pre-roll. Oh, I didn't know that, Beck. I didn't know that. Interesting. JDMSY, how's it going? Any recommendations on how to manage a specific public API for a package that has tons of sub-packages in itself? Do you build a double under all in each of the sub-packages and combine them in a parent double under all, or just import them directly into the parent and expose it like that? I don't like writing code in init.py personally. I like to have my naming conventions mostly dictate how the public API works. And so like underscore prefixing and that sort of stuff is mostly how I handle that personally. But then again, I also haven't built any big libraries. I mostly build tools more so than actual functional libraries. So yeah, I don't know that I have the best advice there. I just really don't like init.py because it's way too easy to get to circular imports. Hey, what's up, Jashu Gansen? Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. If you want to do a podcast, you can do a video podcast by just repackaging your Anthony Explains videos. Yeah, that's kind of true. Hey, what's up, Turvy? Hello, hello. Aiden says, you asked what my solution part 1 was. I feel like this wasn't the solution you had in mind. Yeah, no, this works fine. You can extend this one level further, and you end up with day 2, right? Wait a sec. Oh, I see. I was like, how are you modifying the array? Oh, I understand now. You're taking it as strings, then turning it into integers. But yeah, you can use this same approach, but with another level to implement part 2. I'm actually gonna, well, depending I have enough time, I'm gonna try and record re-releases where I explain my approaches to each of the Advent of Code days, and put those up on YouTube. So those are a separate standalone video. Hey, what's up, Railed Wharf Vader? Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Does anyone know when YouTube DL actually put their GitHub back up? Just saw it today. I think it was like a week after it got taken down. It was back up there. TBD Gamer says, we got the registering streams part done, working on showing if the stream is live on Twitch. Ooh, that's cool. How are you doing that? With like webhooks or with polling or... Wait, Leaf Me, you weren't following? Thank you for the follow. Welcome, welcome. Appreciate it. Genius Wise says, I find underscore modules super ugly. Yeah, I agree too. Lesson Watcher says, I actually just got my first Raspberry project and I installed Pi-hole on it. I'm a newbie to programming, etc. and it still feels bad because Pi-hole almost blocks no ads for me. I see. Did I see a project called AOC 2020 See Things? Yes, I'm working on Advent of Code. This is Hayden's Advent of Code. This one is mine, or no, this is Kevin's. Where's mine? Turvy, thank you for the follow. And wait, Ravenous, you weren't following either? Thank you as well for the follow. You're subscribed and you're not even following. That's nuts. But thank you both for the follow. Appreciate it. But yeah, Advent of Code. If you don't know about Advent of Code, I need to make a video about that too. Advent of Code is a series of puzzles that unlock once a day in December, and they're usually a bunch of pros as well as inputs. Each person has their own inputs and answer, so your inputs might look like this, might look like something else, and they increase in difficulty as the days go on. Usually part 2 is more difficult than part 1, and they ramp up as the days go. But I am working on my own solutions in Python and in Sqlite because memes. And I guess we can look at day 1, part 1, and that's hopefully not giving too much away, because but you basically implement your own in whatever programming language, because it doesn't actually matter. It's just the inputs and outputs. I have my own little test harness and inputs here, and yeah, I've also implemented them in SQLite. The SQLite solution is actually very interesting. It looks a lot like you know, I was able to do a full cross join here to check my answer here, so I thought that was kind of cool. The SQLite solution is actually pretty expressive for this, but yeah, that's what AOC is, Advent of Code. And I'm actually going to be doing tonight's stream of Advent of Code, starting at midnight Eastern. I've been streaming it every day. Internet Pie seems so ugly. Yeah, I agree as well. I agree. You can make an internet's code bug. Thank me later. Writing a book. That's perhaps potential. James Weiss says, can you explain is instance checks on protocols, in particular runtime check errors / decorator? I didn't. Does protocol have runtime checking? Protocol. Typing. I've never done runtime checks or protocol. I know for ABC, which actually protocol just extends ABC, doesn't it? Protocol classes decorated with runtime checkable act as simple-minded runtime protocols that check only the presence of given attributes, ignoring their type signature. Oh, I didn't know about that. Oh, it's new in 3.8. Maybe that's why I don't know about it. Although protocol is new in 3.8 also. I think I'll do a video on that. Video idea protocol plus runtime checkable. I've only ever used protocol at typing time, but this essentially makes it work similar to how the ABC classes work, the abstract-based classes work. Hey, Michaela, how's it going? So this is similar to abc.abstract method, but apparently it does special stuff for protocols. Only check the presents, not their signatures. Yeah. Yeah. So it's not perfect, but it's yeah. Okay, I'll check. I'll make a video for that also. Revenant says shoot, I'm not following you there. Oh, you purged your followers. I see. I see. That makes sense. Oh, I should make a command for it too. TBD Gamer says we were going to pull every minute or so, but hit some issues that need a bit of investigation, but it's coming along. Cool, cool. Leafme says, what are your personal stats like? I'm in the top leaderboard right now. For the first time ever. I guess the second time because I was on the leaderboard yesterday. But I was 64th yesterday. I've fallen to 87th because I didn't get any points yesterday. But I have points. They're all from one day, though. This is my personal stats. So the first day took a long time because the site was down for like 6 minutes. So I was only able to submit this solution, you know, once the site came back up and I was able to get my input. But yeah, day 4 I kicked ass. I did so good on day 4. But I don't know, I'm pretty happy with the times I've had so far. The only like major setback was I think on day, well, yesterday I got stuck on a lot because I typed a 7 instead of an 8 like a dummy. But yeah, you're free to join the private leaderboard. There's, I think somebody pasted it in chat, but there's also a pinned message on the Discord which you're free to join as well. This is what our private leaderboard looks like. T-Bot-T is, of course, kicking my butt because T-Bot-T is actually really, really good at this. And he's... actually, I don't know their gender. They are on the top leaderboard overall as well. But yeah, a bunch of people have joined, so you can check them out. We've also got some other people that you might recognize in here, like Vape Juice Jordan, or Mewtwo, or Juicebox Hero. Are all on this list. And a bunch of people from chat as well, like Hayden. Hayden's here. But anyway, feel free to join that. The Sqlite guys who live in the tree. How do you even solve with Sqlite? Can you explain the first day one with it? Yeah, sure. Sure. I will explain my day 1 solution. Anthony writes code. Anthony writes code. There we go. 2020. So the day 1 is actually pretty straightforward for Sqlite. Let's talk about part 1. So the most of the complexity here is actually in the input parsing. So I tried to take the puzzle as, you know, as true to form as possible. So I'm actually retrieving the input file as a full blob of text and then parsing it, instead of just like preceding a table with like CSV or whatever. So we read the full text file. I make sure to trim the new line at the end. This makes the parsing a little bit easier. This recursive gadget here is a way to split things into new lines. I explained this in more detail earlier, but the way it works is it bites off one line of input at a time. So that's what this chunk does here. And then this is kind of the accumulation of the rest of it. It actually reads a lot like how you would implement a one-line chunking in a functional language. Hey, what's up, One Line of Me? Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. And then that's just seeding a table of numbers. So Sqlite allows you to loosely cast between integers and strings. So because everything's actually a string in Sqlite, which is great. Or not great, but so I just mark this table as integers and it converts it automatically for me. And then finally, I select against that table of numbers. So it's essentially a set of numbers. And what I do here is I inner join across itself. So this creates a cross product of all of the combinations of numbers. This is essentially doing combinations, although I should have checked that. I should have done inner join numbers as numbers to where row ID does not equal row ID from both of them, so that it's not checking a duplicate across. But it actually doesn't matter for this problem because there was no 1010 in there. It's the drop song. But yeah, inner join to get the cross product, condition for the actual case that I was looking for, and then the answer is just this multiplication. Limit 1 is so that it didn't do it in both directions. It just gave the first answer. But yeah, that's the Sqlite solution for day 1. They get a lot more complicated though. like the day that the day that suggested using regexes. Sqlite doesn't have regexes, so I had to do some other tricks to get around that. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Tiny team working on a tool that's use everything 24/7 optimizing. Yeah, that's pretty true. RDG, I really like Sqlite. Hey, what's up, Sis Admiral? Hello, hello. Finally implementing pre-commit in work this week. Gonna need to fork a lot of GitHub repos to make it viable / allowed. Well, let me know what stuff you need from there, JDMSY, because you know, a lot of this stuff is pretty easy to just like mirror instead of forking entirely. S1 Cube says, I missed a lot. Did you get the job? I mean, it was a mock interview with my friend. But yeah, I don't know. Ish, we had some stuff there. Hey, what's up, Alyssa? Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. Day 5 took me literally 90 minutes. I see. I got done pretty quickly. I would have gone much faster if I had not transposed 7 and 8. Although I recognized the trick really quickly, so that was the problem. Or that was why it was fast. If you didn't recognize the trick, it probably took a lot longer. Randri Bala says +1 for the Sqlite solution. It's so funny. Yeah, it's pretty good. Well, that says, one question I had earlier, but you skipped it. Is it possible or allowed to crawl all around GitHub and scrape all the Python code, for example? GitHub has APIs, so you can do that, but they're really, really limited. Everything for the mock job for mock pay. Oh yeah, and then you get into licensing too, so that's a whole different thing. But anyway, so let's implement this spam filter, which is what I want to do. I think right now it doesn't work, but it does detect it. So if I send this special gtube string, this is a way to test spam detection. I go to my email and I do compose to this spam test. I should do it for the dev account. That way we can actually look at this thing. Anthony at dev.fragment. And we do a sendaroo here. So I think right now this is going to make it through, and we'll eventually see that email here. So we'll just wait for that to happen. Janus Y says, could you share a simple example of how to make black work with a mirror? Anyway, we'll get this in a second. Yeah, so what you would do, there's kind of two ways to do it. One is, are you trying to mirror PyPI or are you trying to mirror GitHub? Because you can do both if that's what you're looking for. But one way is you would just, like, if you're using whatever internal index server. Okay, so that's actually really easy to do. If you have like repos, repo, I don't know, say this is a fork in your internal Git, or a copy or a mirror. PSF/black, but you know, it's my company/black. My company, and then hooks ID black. You can do additional dependencies, and then -I my, actually I have to quote this. My index.pypi.example.com. And this will send those arguments to pip when it actually installs this. So, oh, and you can't see that because it's off screen, but yeah, there you go. And this is what we did at Yelp when we needed to do this. Lyft didn't actually need to do any of this because we didn't distribute any private. Oh, actually, no, we did do this. We did the same pattern at Lyft. That way, if you need like additional plugins, like we did this with MyPy, pre-commit / mirrors MyPy. We just use plain GitHub there though. But you did like, you know, -I, you know, pypi.lyft. whatever it was, and you know, like lyft-foo package. Of course, it's SBHTTPS. And so that was one way that we did this. And so that worked. That worked reasonably well. Oh god, why is chat moving around? Stop moving, chat. Vex says, I used the trick for day 5 on my day 3 solution, so I ended up having to write like 8 lines of code. What was day 3? I don't remember what day 3 was. Day 3. Oh. Huh. Oh, day 3 was the obnoxious one, right? Yeah, no. Yeah, no. This is the Oh, I see. Okay, that's cool. So you use bit banging, bit matching. That's cool. What's up, Rodri Yabla? Rodri Yabala, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Leaf Me has set the MOTD to 4 dots, but they are wide dots. They are the thick dots. Oh wait, no, there's a dot and a space. Never mind, they're not the thick dots. What's that VMware Dungeons and Dragons file? Oh, this here? Wait, what? There's nothing fancy here. Okay, but this is the spam thing. And I believe if we find that in the database, alias S3 LS, not in the database, S3 pre-commit, CI emails dev. Should see today is the 5th, so it's this one. CP this to dash. I know in here, yeah, we can see that it failed the spam verdict. So, it did fail the spam verdict, but we still forwarded it along. So we should figure out how to do blocking. Leaf Me says if you try to set the MOTD, it takes your points and doesn't set it. Wait, what? What do you mean? Is it broken right now? No, you set it to this. Set it to a single dot? Really? I don't think it takes your points. I can check if it takes your points. Let me check that. It's not supposed to take your points. That's a bug in Twitch, if anything, because Twitch has special dot commands. Let's see, community. Oh, sure as shit, it did take it. That's fucked. Yeah, that's a bug in Twitch. It probably also has the same bug if you start with a dot. So the reason it it's supposed to require a message too. That's so fucked. So stupid, Twitch. Give me my lost points. Okay, I can refund them. Reward queue. So I can just do reject, 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 reject. Okay, you got your points back. But I'm not gonna refund any more points, so you'll just have to deal if you do it again. Anyway, you have your points back now. Because as I lost 100,000 points to it now, can you give them back? No, that's not gonna work. What is this? What is this character that doesn't display on my terminal? Is that the RTL character? Import Unicode data dot name. Left facing Armenian eternity sign. What? Hey, what's up, Crow? How's it going? That was my nickname in high school. Oh fuck, what was I doing? How far into stream are we? 3 hours in? Okay, I want to get this working though. Okay, so I think this shows up in the Lambda event. Someone broke your keyboard. It's true, Crow. Someone did break my keyboard. Right in half. So if I go let's see, SCS sample event. Should be somewhere in here. Yeah, tags. Headers. That's bounce event. SCS lambda event. Very weird formatting that they picked here. Okay, here's what we want. I think we mostly just care about spam and virus detect. I don't really care about these ones. So we have records, SES, mail. No. Records, SES, receipt, virus verdict, and SP, or virus verdict and spam verdict. Emails, worker, handler, that's what it's called. Record, receipt, spam verdict, status? Why is this so verbose? I guess it makes sense because you can expand it later. If it's not equal past, or virus verdict does not equal past, then print this out. Message ID equals that. Message ID. This line actually gets shorter if I do that. Yeah. Did I spell receipt properly? Receipt? Yeah. Cool. Wait, there's a recipients in receipt also? Oh, Hmm. Chris says, I wish Python had optional braces. It's so hard for me to see where the loops are coming from. C++ and Java, yeah. Samuel says, but it's weird that it takes the points if it can't parse / rejects the input, right? Twitch should hire me to break their site. I'm pretty good at it. True. Isman says, you double indent for multi-line if statements. Yeah, so I like to have the code in the block and the conditions at a different indent level, so it's easy to see at a glance, like which part's the condition, which part's not. Because some people will do this, and then I find it a lot harder to read, and some people will go even further and do this gross shit, and then it's really hard to read. And some will do this, which is just fucking awkward. But I don't like any of this shit, so I do that. Don't diss that. No, it's not good. It's hard to read. St. Paul says it's getting worse and worse, right? There you go. How to do multi-line ifs? This. I actually like the little sad face. Duncan Nick says 2 indented. Nick says I do none of those. I'm not sure if I would be happy about that. I mean, you probably do. I also don't like. I like lining up the operands and not the. Sorry, the operands, not the operators. So I like this style as well. But some people do this, which I think is dumb also, because it means that the conditions never, like, these don't line up. So it's really hard to see that these are actually the same check but different for spam and virus because they don't line up. So I really don't like that either. But anyway, to each their own. To each their own. But I don't know, if you use black, it will do this. So if you don't want to think about it, it will do that. But I don't. So. The or is important. Should be the line that starts with it. Nah, no, I don't buy that. I don't like that either. It doesn't fucking matter. Just pick some style and stick to it. I'm gonna pick my style and stick to it. At least I use pep8 for the most part, unlike some of the other Python science and tech streamers. Yeah, Vex says the important thing is that you're consistent more than anything. 100%. Yeah. Dennis Weiss says any good places to learn about Python packages, structure, layout, etc. I have a bunch of Python packaging YouTube videos, but I don't know. I prefer the operator to start, so we can compromise and go like this. There you go. You happy now? Or should I start, you know, doing this and this? Are you feeling better now? Anyway, just randomize it for every new statement. Yeah, there we go. Random formatter. Yeah, it's up, Zayatic. Hello, hello. Day 2 complete. Nice, nice, Hayden. Good job. The important thing is to encode it in an automatic formatter and apply it. Yeah, I have an automatic formatter that does most of this, just not this double indent. Everything else, though, is automatic. We need message, process, builder, proxy, factory, impl, right? Esteburn says, in the words of the Mandalorian, this is not the way. I actually haven't seen the Mandalorian. Danik says, need to sleep to make it in time for AOC day 6, but can't sleep. Thanks. Use black for one file, yap for another, auto pep8, yeah. Yes. Add trailing comma, throw that one in there. The one that I wrote. Years before black existed. That is much less picky than black. But anyway, I think this is the right answer here. So let's try this. And issue, git commit. Well, we can deploy dirty, right? Because it's dev. Lambda deploy build and deploy. This is one of the ones that's a little bit unfortunate because okay, we're dev. Okay, it's like I was hoping we didn't just splat prod. Not that it matters. No one actually has access to these emails yet, so. Make your formatters fight each other to death. Infinite pre-commit CI loop. So pre-commit CI won't push on bot commits, so it wouldn't loop forever. I thought of that. It was a blocked muffin99. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so now if I resend that spam message again, it should get filtered, although we should still see it in S3. Let me do that real quick. Close Anthony at this. Spam test 2 with that string sent. I'm also going to send another message. Test message, please ignore. This one should get through. This one should get through because it is not spam. I hope I'm not hurting the reputation of my email address by doing this, but it's possible. Okay, so now we sit here and refresh this, and we should get one email, not two. We should just get one. TreeSitter will format all my code. Does TreeSitter do that? I feel like it doesn't. Muffin says, sorry, stupid question. What are you doing? I'm working on making an emailer do spam filtering. Because it's not enabled yet. Oh no. Oh god. We want LS, not CP. Okay, so there's 2 new messages from today. Oh, did I hurt my spam notification? It must have failed. There must be a bug in the way I wrote this. It's probably Kier. Let's log into AWS and see what's up with that. No. Dev. Pre-commit. Oh, AWS. Dev. Paste. Copy something else. 2-vector. What is this GTube string? It's a sample test string that you can use to check spam checkers. It's similar to the iCar string, if you've heard of it, which is the test string for virus scanners. Fun thing about Gmail, though, is you actually cannot send an email that contains the iCar string. So I was playing with the antivirus earlier and trying to get it to work, but then I decided, fuck it, this is too much work, and I was going to do it on stream instead, so that's why I didn't do that there. But yeah, the code must be broken, so let us look at our Lambda logs. Where's the logs? Show me the logs! Oh, here we go. View logs. So it should be this one. Key error receipt. Okay, well, that's the problem with debugging these, is they're often hard to see. So we're actually just going to print the entire method object. Print event. Build and deploy. And I'll send another email. And then we'll see what we get in our logs. Let's go put this over here because it's not going to work for a while until we debugger this. But yeah, this key doesn't exist, so we have the wrong key, and this sample thing is bullshit. Does not surprise that Amazon's docs are a little bit wrong. This one. Why did we get it twice? Oh, because it retried. Oh my god, there's so much shit here. Okay, let's grab this. Go into Python. X equals that. Import JSON. JSON.dumps x indent equals 2. Now we can see this a little bit easier. We got records, SES. It's under the mail key, isn't it? Wait. Oh, it's SES receipt. I think I missed the SES part. Emails handler. Yep, 100%. Oh, damn it. You are now 1 character too long. I guess we can make this shorter by doing 4 key in spam verdict virus verdict. This also allows us to expand this to DKIM later, so maybe this is fine. Maybe this is better. If record SES receipt key status does not equal passed. Print failed key. And then we need to break, and we're gonna abuse for else here. So if this break happens, then this else never runs. And I can't use continue here because it continues this for loop, not this for loop, so that should work. I actually think this code is a little bit better too. Cool. Alright, let's build and deploy again and try this one more time. What happens if I have Pregment CI and GitHub Actions competing? So pushes by bots will not be repushed, so it should be fine. iCar exists for AV. Yeah, I just talked about that. Lambda. Yeah. Receipt was uppercase. No, we're good. I kept them a bit of slack on their docs considering how much they have. No, I just they did a dumb thing with their indentation, which made it harder to see what was going on. All my IoT devices connect to servers in China. That seems not good. FuzzyCastle.com says my AWS was up, but it was only some AWS. Open close principle wants a word. Nicecore says that Ubuntu? Yes, if you do Bang OS, you can learn more about it. If you that face when you have blocking naughty devices straight from AliExpress, but somebody blocks it in the Great Firewall for the lulls, and you can't open them anywhere. Oh no. Oh no. I know what you mean by your devices there. I didn't think about it until I thought about it, and I was like, oh no. The old for else, indeed. Imagine else is no break. Yeah, so if you... I have a video about this. Explains for else. Yeah. Okay, but this should work now if I do a compose to... I'm just confident that it's going to work entirely. Test success, test success. We're going to send that one through, and then we're going to copy the gtube string. Retube! Test fan filtered, and then I'll paste that in there, and then send. So I should get one email, but not two. I should have sent them in the other order so that I can actually see the ordering here. But we can check the Lambda logs to find them as well. But we will refresh that in a bit, and we'll go to CloudWatch. And the latest one... Son of a bitch. I should run Flygate. 65. Oops. Okay, fixed. Wait, why did both of them fail? Also, I should have printed that it was processing the message. Oh, this is before it even gets to there. Oh. Weird that it filtered both of them now. Anyway. I should have let one through. But maybe that's wrong too. But that's why we're debugging. I hate the round trip on this though, it's really annoying. Test. So let's try and get just normal emails to work. So I just sent one more. Should see this go up to 11? Or is it gonna end up in this bucket? Oh no, they're failing the spam verdict now. Both of them did? Oh no, I think I got my email just blacklisted. That sucks. That really sucks. Okay, so FPV and PICG. Unus F3 CP 404. Okay, that one should have been spam. Okay, that's actually fine. What about this other one? Oh, we did PIC. We should do FPVN. This one. Oh no! Oh wait, this says pass. Is it pass and I did passed like a dummy? I probably did passed like a dummy. Oh, my brain is a little bit fried. This is not... Oh, I did passed. Damn it. Is it pass or passed? Here's the blob. Oh, it's pass. Good job, me, I guess. Daddy Henninger has a video on it too. I see. I wanted to ask, what do you not have a video on? But then I remembered seeing your massive fucking list of video ideas. Yeah. James Wise says, can you remote debug or register a socket handler to send the log somewhere? I don't know. That would take longer than just redeploying and trying over and over. I guess I could download the actual event and call the function with the actual event. That would also work, but I don't know. I'm being a little bit lazy, and necessarily creating more work for myself also. Okay, so this one should get through. If we look at CloudWatch, should have 11 streams now. Where's my 11th stream? Maybe it went in this bucket as well. Did I not deploy? Alright, we're gonna grab the damn event and do it that way. I have decided. Event equals this from emails.handler import lambda handler event done. JSON. Are you fucking me? What part about this is invalid JSON? Line 98. So we should go to line 97. Oh, there's goddamn backslashes. Emails dev. Email dest equals pre.commit.ci plus dev at gmail.com. Oh, it worked. I'm just dumb. Okay. Alright, so now if I send the spam one, it should filter it. Let me actually delete all the CloudWatch logs so that I can see when the logs happen. Select all, delete, yes. Bella says, gotta go to sleep. Well, thanks for stopping by. I'll see you around in the future. Thanks to Max. Yeah, Max did a really great job with that, so I'm really happy for what Max did there. It'll be up on YouTube at some point. Okay, we need to get that GTube string. And then I Click send. Now we should see a log stream eventually here. At least passing now, so that's good. Log stream should say spam verdict. Perfect. Okay, I think that's good. Get add dash u, get commit dash m, filter emails for spam plus viruses. Build and deploy, and then I also have to deploy to prod. Prod, credentials, and then deploy, and become dev again. Cool. It says, where am I going wrong? Day3 pot 1. This is the trees one. Well, finish equals false. Okay. I would do, well, not finished, or you can just say the opposite, say finished equals true. So let me see if I can find the pastebin that I sent to Juicebox Hero. Oh, maybe I didn't. Actually, let me open this in Chrome so that we can work in the normal browser. Instead of Firefox. So fluffy.com. Fluffy.cc, that's the one. So the problem that we're having here is, say you're on something that's 3, let's say that it's 5 long, for instance. And so you're working with a circular buffer here. When you initially start this problem, you're looking at the 0th element. And so the next thing that you want to do is you want to move to the right 3. So we're going to add 3 to I. So I equals 0 here. So we add 3, and then we get to a new state, which is I equals 4, or I equals 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. And so now we're looking at this point here. And then we need to move right again 3. But that actually takes us past the end of this list. And so if we moved right 3, we have to actually move 1, 2, 3. And so we're actually going to be at, I equals 6. But problem, we are past the end of the list. And so you need to do some logic there to make it so you end up wrapping around properly. So when you wrap around here properly, you go 1, and then 2, and then 3, and so, oops. And so then you end up looking here. And there's a particular operator that makes this easy, but you can also do this without using that operator. You can use, subtraction instead. But yeah, this is the diagram that I sent Juice that helped her understand, so that was helpful. And hopefully this helps, but that's, I think, where you're going wrong. Can I do 31 minus x plus 3? So that would actually go the other direction. Yeah, that would go negative. Big negative number, or small negative number. You actually want to subtract 31. I would try it with the smaller problem first. That way you're not hard coding 31 as well, so that you can figure out the answers there. But yeah, the tricky part for that problem is the modular arithmetic. I think I'll actually, when I make a video, I'm probably gonna make videos, no promises, but I'm probably gonna use this similar diagram for that to hopefully explain that. JSY says you can bin the concept of right by filtering the parse lines against the down value, then you just need to increment and index as you loop. Yeah, that is another way to do it. Solved? Nice, perfect. It says, so I saw a post about Rust, and then this error message, and literally so helpful with simple English, like arrows pointing where you messed up and what was wrong. Yeah, Rust's arrow messages are really, really nice. Robin says, have you done 2017? No, the first year I did was 2018. I've done a few, early ones in 2017, but not anything significant. What's up, Z3TR? Hello, hello. Yeah, modulus. That's how I solved it. Actually, I learned a very clever way to do this one. If you're okay with spoilers for a second, if not, look away at the moment. I actually really like my Sqlite solution to day 3. So my Python solution is just like, iterate and check, loop over and check, mod and plus, and I didn't even think like looping with lines was a way to do this one. But my Sqlite solution, I had figured it out because it was several tens of minutes later. And so my Sqlite solution is actually just one line after the parsing. So the parsing, is up here, but it's literally a sum if the thing mod length plus 1 is equal to a tree. So it was fun. Robin says, I felt like some of those questions are not calibrated yet. I got the same feeling by trying a few of the early ones in 2016 also. I felt like some of the early day ones were way harder than the 2018, 19, and 20 early day ones. But yeah. I laughed when I saw the error messages because C++ has melted my brain. Oh yeah, C++ template error messages are actual garbage. So that doesn't surprise. But yeah, this is working. Since I'm going to be streaming again later today, I might call it here. Hey, what's up, Mrs. Q? Hello, hello. sorry to end the stream right as you show up. But yeah, I'm going to probably call the stream here, and I will be back later today to do Advent of Code Day, whatever the day it is today. 6? 5? 6? JSY says, can you show an example of writing a decorator as an instance method and subsequently wrapping instance methods in such a decorator? So, unfortunately, if you're dealing with typing, MyPy doesn't let you have decorators as instance methods. So, there isn't a great way to do that, unfortunately. So what I usually do is I make a small helper method next to the class to do that instead. But yeah, let me do my little spiel. But I could also show that later if you remind me next stream, and I'll do that for you. The problem with making videos, I can't type it, and so it would kind of go against my typing everything sort of deal. Although actually, hold on. I think I do this in Babby now that I think about it. Get grab LRU cache where I call it. I can do this in the highlighter. Yeah. This isn't actually a method though. But I have a late init callable here so that I can cache it. By deleting and undeleting it there. And so there's the part. Yeah, we build the cache function late here. So that's kind of an example of that, but not quite. Did you get your stream achievement yet? Yes, I did get the unhealthy stream achievement, which is the like clockwork achievement. So you can see we are now 25 unique days in the last 30 days, which is unhealthy AF. Mikhail says, if you're planning on writing some other script or anything before the next day opens, make sure to do it in between now and tonight instead of the 5 minutes before it starts. Yeah, so I don't leak my keys like last time. But yeah, anyway, let me do my spiel, and then we'll send you guys off to another channel. My name is Anthony. I upload my previous content to YouTube. That's youtube.com/AnthonyWritesCode, where I upload, daily educational videos as well as previous streams. 69, nice. I stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. But during Advent of Code, I'm going to be streaming every single day. Hey, what's up, Reckless Jumper? Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. I announce my streams in 2 places. One of them is on Twitter, and that's twitter.com/codewithanthony. I also announce them on the Discord, which you are free to join. We have an Advent of Code channel. There's a beginners channel if you want to ask questions. I haven't been announcing the Advent of Code ones on Twitter because I feel like it's a little bit noisy to do it every day. So check out the Discord for those notifications. But yeah, thank you all for stopping by, and let's go find some trade.